Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Another month is upon us. Good morning. First on the agenda is approve the minutes of September 25th as written.
I'll move.
Second.
I'll second.
Moved by McCurry, seconded by Meeks. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is to approve the minutes as written from 9/27.
So moved.
Moved by Hugutin,
I'll second.
seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
I'll
passes.
abstain from that.
Oh, yeah, you'll abstain, you was gone, I forgot. Rhonda? Housing Authority, come on up. I guess we should have done this one, shouldn't we?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here to request to waive landfill fees. This is for Derek Kistner, 2349 Verdure Road. And they have built a house on the same vicinity and everything, so this won't be like a new build, but they'll be cleaning up this old property and everything. They may do something down the road, they said, you know, I don't know if they need a shed or whatever for sure, but they said they might do something a little bit later. But basically it's just a cleanup.
This is at its location there off, there by, I just had a brain cloud.
20
Agricola. Is it right along Old 50 Highway, where they have their other stuff?
No, it'd be a mile north of 22nd and then back,
Oh, okay.
east,
Okay.
2 miles, 2 or 3 miles.
Okay.
You say Derek?
Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, his address is 2367, so.
Right.
But he did build a new house.
Motion to waive landfill bills for Derek Kishner location as 2349 Vendur, Waverly, Kansas.
I'd make that motion.
1 second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Knight to waive landfill fees. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I forgot miscellaneous motions while we was flying through this, we'll hit them. Moved upon recommendation of the Register of Deeds, authorize Director Chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Virginia Dubuque, full-time Register of Deed deputy position, 45 step 3, wage $23.22, effective 10/9/23.
I so move. Second.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by Hugutin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next one is moved upon a recommendation of the county treasurer to authorize Director Chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Linda Millhouse, full-time field appraiser, position 35, step 1, wage of $19.48. Effective 10/16/23.
So
Moved by Hugutin,
Second.
seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We got one more here. We done this here a while back.
Yes, this one came back in,
Yeah.
and, so yeah.
Upon the request, Coffee County Housing Authority Board to authorize Director Chairman to sign real estate mortgage release acknowledging satisfaction of full debt secured by Chad A. Tuttle and Rebecca L. Tuttle, east half of Lot 10 and all lots 7 and 12 in Block 177 in City of Burlington, Coffee County, Kansas. Volume page mortgage is recorded in book volume N, in Mary 302, pages 528 through 529 of the records of Register of Deeds, Coffee County.
I so move.
I'll stay.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by Meeks. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Michael Adendroff, you're up next, sir.
Oh, there it is.
He snuck in on you.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, Randy?
Thanks for having me up this morning. Been talking with Bobby a little bit about some ground down the old convenience store downtown. We've been talking about maybe trying to set up a deal to purchase that. Have the intent to put a 50 by 100 foot strip mall building in there, 3 units in it. I have 2 of them spoke for already. So Bobby asked me to come up and visit with you guys this morning about it.
This is,
Like the intent I had.
Bobby's got a set of the prints that I emailed him for the proposed building, so I have all the structural engineering done for the building. It's just a matter of acquiring the land so I can get to work. I got one tenant that's wanting to reside in there yesterday. So,
So it'd start very quickly, man.
yes, indeed, yeah. And the first one's already committed to a 5-year lease on one of the units in it, so.
Where's this location?
It'd be
The old
200.
The old you do.
Yeah, the old UD store.
Okay.
Yeah, down to where the old gas station was. It was torn down a couple years ago. So.
I think we've got a total of about 40 in that, do we? Yes, sir. Which I know we're not gonna regain all of our money back out of it, but it would definitely be a nice addition to the Main Street.
I'm gonna try to work with the guy there that has a little coffee shop next to it to provide him some parking. I know that's a major issue for him, and I think everybody could benefit from this little merger.
How would you go about doing that? What's your thoughts about that parking issue?
I honestly don't have anything. I know I talked to Bobby a little bit about it, and I haven't met with the guy yet. I'm sure he's on board with it. I actually sold him that building there a couple of years ago, and he was interested in that parking facility there. So I'm sure he'll work with us, whether you do a lease agreement on it or he contributes a little up front for the parking area, or I just need to work the details out.
That's what my question was, you've got a parking area and I'm all for it, okay, I'm not questioning that, I just, how would you go about
Yeah, that's just
coming up with an agreement for
that's
that,
just some details.
unless you leased him
Right.
part of it or something, because either you're gonna own it or he's gonna own it, one or the other.
Or maybe he can make an upfront contribution for the parking area to get it paved or asphalted or whatever route we go with that, and then
Right.
kind of work off something in that
Okay.
regards.
Okay.
But you guys are in discussion now. I mean, you've talked to him and everything.
As far as that part, no, I haven't visited with him, but I don't think it's gonna be a problem with him. So he's in desperate need of parking down there.
Yes,
His
very
business
much so.
is really growing, and
Yeah,
he needs it, so.
because that'd be my wish, that something could be worked out there.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I have no objections to that at all, so. But I can't go tell them that, hey, I'm gonna work a deal out with you when I don't even own the property yet. Pay me, I'll let you park on the county's parking lot. How's that sound?
You guys already work on like a sale price, or did you start?
That was the purpose, my intent, for him to discuss that with the commission this morning.
I mean, get it sold, get it back on the tax roll,
That's a plus.
that's a plus.
Just so the commission knows, I did hit him at 35,000. He about bit my head off. But
Do you have? He couldn't believe it was that cheap.
I'd be willing to give you guys 20 for it. So.
Was that the original cost, was 20?
No, by the time we did demo and purchases, we got close to 40 in, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
No, I knew full well we weren't gonna recoup 100% of that, but if something like this came about,
Oh, yeah.
you'll get your other 20 back over
I
time.
guess what my question was the cost of the property was 20 and then cleanup was another 20, is that?
We paid 18 grand for this property.
Okay.
Moving into some extra cost, in one of the tanks, you know, had
Right,
some
as far as cleanup.
as far as cleanup, and we had some issues there, and you've almost got a plan on some issues.
Oh, sure.
Well,
When you're digging up a fuel tank.
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt that value to the community that it's gone, you know, that it's cleaned up.
I just appreciate if the county stepped in and did it, because it wasn't going anywhere. It sat there for a long time.
Stalemate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was stagnant. It was an eyesore, so
Yeah.
if it wasn't for you guys taking care of it, it'd probably still be there. So,
Bobby, what's your time frame on getting this put together?
Next step, if the commission agrees to a price from Mr. Avondroff, then we'll get with Wade. KDHE is gonna have to enter into, be party to the agreement. There'll be long-term, we agreed when we did that we would allow KDHE to continue to test the property forever to make sure that any possible contamination.
Because of groundwater, is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
and the old tanks that was
Yeah, the
in
old
there.
tanks.
Yeah, so, but that's my understanding, as Bobby said, that's a constant monitoring. It's gotta be reported to the state, so.
Well, Bobby told you 35, and you said 20, wouldn't be a good person if we did try to meet in the middle at 25, would we?
We can try.
Sounds like not even the middle, I think you've been.
Well, it's still a little low.
21?
27.5 sounds pretty good.
Yeah, 27.5 in the
I've
middle.
done some auctioneering, but I'm really poor.
You're
It's
poor.
been a while.
So, I'd probably do 25 on it, if you guys are willing to take it, so.
Do you need to weigh in on any?
Just have to go through resolution 900 for disposal of the property, so there'll have to be public notice.
Hearing, have to have a hearing and everything.
But if you're wanting to move forward with a fixed price, then we need to do that. I don't know what the appraisal of that property is right now.
I was supposed to, forgive me, I didn't bring that up. I think it was 28,000 was the county appraised value.
That's a good figure.
Keep in mind, the city sells their properties for half of the appraisal value in the industrial park.
I'm happy for him.
I'm just throwing that out there, so.
I got you. You would be a good negotiator if you didn't.
Do you need
I just got one quick question. I just want to make sure we verify with Wade, he's in charge of the monitoring wells that are down there with KDHE. Do they take care of those wells? And I just want to make sure that that's ironed out ahead of time.
I think, isn't that already set in place?
I believe so.
I just want to make sure, that's all.
Yeah, I believe so.
But the next time that the commission discusses this, there'll be, all that'll be laid out before you. Process.
Well, I don't have a problem with selling for 25.
I don't have a
mean,
problem
this-
with it.
When Mr. Skipper started this, and we had a conversation about this, and he first came on board, it was my intent that once that was cleaned up, something like this would go on, and that was, so I'm content with 25, just FYI, so.
Do we need to make a motion to agree to sell the property for $25,000 to Avondroff?
I think right now you, the consensus, I think, and then you'll have to go through the motions with that resolution, public notice. So, once we get that put together, then you'll make the motion.
Okay. Sounds like we got it.
Okay. Just get back on me, whatever you need, paperwork wise, or Bobby, or however you want to channel it, wherever you need to.
Between Bobby and Wade getting things drawn up, having a resolution hearing date. Well, that could be next week, as long as everybody can get everything lined up in time to dispose of the property. You're wanting to move on pretty quick.
Yeah, I'd like to have a building stuck up before the snow flies.
I hope that's soon, actually.
Snow or rain, either one of them.
I think it's great, Mike.
We can push for that, it may need to be a little bit after that,
Okay.
because it's gonna have to go in the paper, people are gonna have to be put on notice.
But if we can come up with a basic understanding, we wanna do this and work together, I can start my paperwork and get everything going for me, so.
I think we're there, aren't we?
I think we're there.
Like I said, it's kinda hard for me to go down and sell something.
Right.
We got laws against that somewhere.
When's the vision?
Yeah. So.
I think we're at the spot you wanna be.
Sounds like a plan, so. Like I said, it's a good little setup, it'll do good for the city of Burlington.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's much needed, so.
It'll look nice down there too.
It will. I got a little building, it's got a big parafoot wall on it, it's got stucco and stone on the front of it, it's a modern looking building, it's really nice.
Modern, so you're not gonna do the barn or the tin type thing.
No,
Thank you.
so, we're gonna modernize a little bit in Burlington,
Thank you,
so.
sir. Well, thank you for all you're doing, so, make these things happen.
Appreciate you guys working with me to do it.
Yep.
Yes. Sound like a plan?
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Jim Traeger, you're up. Mowing policy discussion.
I have to sit down, it's hard for me to get up.
You can have a seat.
You're fine.
Sit down, Steve. Well, all last week's paper set aside had to come in. I mowed the county for about 8-9 years. He got to mow back. Can't leave that back there. Glenn's, he's entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to mine. And, when I was there, we asked the landowners, what do you want? $99, mow back. I mean, because I do on my place. So, I thought somebody ought to come in on the other side. Just to voice concern. I don't want an hour, 15 minutes all I need. Actually, this is all I need, but anyway.
Well, you can talk longer than that, Craig.
Well, I can't talk too long, lose my voice. Like to mow again, but I can't. So, anyway, that's, I'm okay with Craig. Everybody come in, so, just me.
I know it's an issue, I know it's something we've gotta get worked out, that's for sure, you know, and you try to please everybody, but you can't, you know,
No.
and so, I mean, there were some good points that was given last Monday on why not to, and we've gotten some good emails and some good letters of stating it
What
needs
brought
to
me
go
in
back.
was a February comment.
What's that?
What brought me in was a February comment. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess my memory of the meeting is that we decided that we were gonna let the policy stand the way it is for this year, but we made no decision yet.
Right.
This is not a dead issue. I've got an earful, and I don't blame people, because majority of this property we don't own. Landowners own it.
Yeah.
And, in other instances, people in our county get fined for not taking care of their property. And, I want to be eco-friendly every chance we can get, but we
I got
can't
in a little
please
trouble when I was
everybody.
mowing.
Yeah.
I'd mow too much. But your brother, I get called from Bonnie. Somebody called in and said, you did a good job. You usually don't get that call in that chewing on your butt, but I don't know who it was. During the year.
Yeah, it's always good to hear some good stuff.
Well, you can't wait till way late to start going back.
No, and I agree with that.
I mean, I push the limit. Always do.
You always have.
And another part of it, thank you guys for honoring it, supporting it. Owner's rights,
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. That's all I got.
That's all you got? That wasn't 15 minutes worth.
No, it wasn't, but I just wanted to make sure. I'm sure you got phone calls, I'm sure of that.
We have
Yes, sir.
phone calls, and not just that, emails, letters,
Pros and cons.
yeah, pros and cons.
But I'm with Meadows, I got nothing else on my baton, so with that.
Appreciate you coming in and voicing
you.
your opinion and your
Thank
thoughts.
you. Happy to hear from you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim. You know, it's a problem. I shouldn't call it a problem, but it is an issue. But if every mile in the county had corn on one side, beans on one side, you had a blind corner and on, you could develop a program that would be perfect for everybody. There is absolutely no way to develop a perfect program with all the different situations out there. So we're gonna continue to get phone calls. You can make the right decisions for someone else, and it may work out great.
Well, I was at some of them planned right up to Israel Road. I moved off, got in trouble. Well, they're out on the, kind of committee or something. I moved off, it's on there, anyway. Okay.
Farm to the
They
road.
probably didn't keep farming out there then, if you mowed it off.
Well, we tried it a little bit, and they stopped, you know. It's just, yeah. All I've got, I'd go on about other stuff, but I won't.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Oh, geez, it's just, okay,
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Take care.
all right,
Need some help getting out?
I'll make it.
Right.
After all, I found my fitness, so,
Yeah, I know that.
You know, Andy's wanting my signatures. Yeah, no, I'm not. Road and Bridge. Brian, you're up.
Morning, everybody. Morning.
How you doing?
Not too bad, how are
See
you?
what you started.
Well, I knew that was gonna be the case, but, that's just one
Well,
of
like
the
Wade
things.
said, you know, with it being so close to the agreed time to start mowing, it's just, we'll just be,
Yeah, we're a week out from that date, so I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that now. You know, really my next intentions would be something formalized, and this is what we're gonna shoot for. You know, I know there's some other things we're looking at on why we need to mow like we need to, especially when it comes to maybe some noxious weed side of stuff and some stuff there, so just gathering information and, you know, have something a little more formal.
Well, now we've got time to do that. I mean, we're not gonna try to hurry up and do something
Correct.
this year when it's irrelevant.
No,
Almost
that's
irrelevant
exactly
this year.
right, so I just wanna make sure that whatever decision we decide is right, and we've got the most thought, you know, into it before we agree on something, so.
Yeah, like to try to be as beneficial to both sides as we can. but
Absolutely.
I feel the need to.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, well, a couple of motions. We didn't have any call-outs this weekend. First motion is going to be to resolicit formal bids for our lean-to. We didn't get any bids back on that. We kind of didn't get the information out there in time to a couple people, and so they needed more time to process that information to get us bids back. So we're just going to re-advertise that.
So you didn't get any bids on it?
No, we didn't get any bids, so it made it easy for re-advertising.
Okay.
Based on recommendation of the Road and Bridge Superintendent, move to approve the request to resolicit formal bids for truck, barn, lean-to addition at the county shop. Funds to be paid for capital improvement line item.
So moved. I'd second that.
Moved by Thompson, seconded, moved by Huguenin, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. The next ones are biannual bridge inspections. Got bids back on these. We had 3 people put bids in and wanted a no bid. So I think my recommendations, the last 10 inspections we've had, it's either been BG Consultants or Cook Flat Strobel. I think it's a good idea every so often to change it up and get some different eyes, especially when we're talking our bridges and just the importance of the information that's being inspected out there. And so I would like to go with Kirk and Michael. On their bids, they come in at $130 per bridge. BG come in at $98.50 and CFS come in at $95. So, it would be almost $9,000 difference to go with Kirk and Michael, but I just think it's good to change it up every so often. There is one thing they did point out that wasn't being put into our bridge inspections, and that is the they all have like the estimated traffic counts, but there's also a portion in there that's ag-related traffic or heavy traffic, and so that's currently not being put in with our bridge inspections. And kind of what I'm understanding is that's beneficial when you're putting in for projects or grant money. That's a line in there, especially if you're talking bridges down around Leroy, which there's a couple down there we put in for. If you're showing that a certain amount of that's ag-related traffic, I think it sounds like maybe that helps bring some awareness to it, and could make a difference. Could make a difference on some funding possibly, but so that's one thing extra that we'd be getting on those bridge inspections.
And that's something that the other BG and CFS has not been doing?
No, they haven't. I don't know that we have asked for that. I'm not saying that's necessary information that has to be done, but, for the bridge inspection side, but I think on the other side of it, I think there's a benefit to it. Give you an example on that South River Bridge at Leroy. We've been doing some traffic counts out there, and about 30% of the traffic that crosses that bridge is ag, more than a passenger car. I guess I'll leave it at that. So that's you're talking a third of the traffic. So, if somebody was applying for grants and trying to show the need for some of that, I think that's beneficial information. So that's something that we will have there on all our structures.
It could possibly help. I wish it was a little closer as price.
Yeah,
That's my problem.
Yeah, no, I get that. $9,000 is, it's more, but I think anytime you get somebody new, it's gonna be a little more, because the other 2 companies, they've been here before, so they've kind of got their system down on how they're gonna go across the county, and so that probably the first time you're gonna have a little more time involved in getting that information.
I know your bridges vary drastically when you got a river bridge like that, and you got some creek bridges. Well, what determines a bridge to be, and you've answered this question before, what determines a bridge to be,
It's the length, so if you get over that 20 foot,
20 foot,
if
okay.
you hit that 20 foot or more, then it's classified as a bridge and requires inspections.
Like at $95 a bridge, what's the average time for them to check that bridge out and get a true grade on it?
I don't have an answer for that, Don.
Because you think for the people that's grading that bridge, they'd be $100 an hour, but that's a flat guess.
Someone with the training.
Right.
Yeah.
I can certainly see where Brian and Adam is coming from on this situation. I know the first thing when I seen that difference, I marked it high and wide.
Right.
That's-
No, that's right. You know, just going back through history, it seems like a lot of the consultants or the engineers, we would use them for 2 cycles. So, I mean, we have these inspections every 2 years, and it just seems to me that through history, typically one would have it for 2 cycles, and then for whatever reasons, somebody else would get it. I know Wayne always made the comment he likes to try to change it up every other cycle, just to get different people looking at them.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the idea.
No, just the price.
Right. No, that's,
You know, $9,000, there's still an extra $9,000 in our expenses. At least we're not talking about a $50,000 or $100,000 difference.
right.
No, it's over 25% more.
Pardon?
It's over 25% more.
Well, we got the motion here, we can read it and vote on it, or shoot it down, I guess.
Right.
Alexa, second. Based upon recommendations, Road and Bridge Superintendent to approve the proposal from Kirkham Michael for the 2024 biannual bridge inspection at $130 per bridge, and direct Road and Bridge Superintendent to sign the agreement for these professional services. These amounts shall be paid for from the special bridge fund.
I so move.
Moved by Udine,
Oh, second.
seconded by Meats. Any other discussion?
I would have to agree with Ryan on a fresh set of eyes, maybe. Sometimes some of these things become, not taking anything away from Quick Plat or B&G, but it's repetitious for the fresh set of eyes and the extra ag type count. When you go to apply for a grant, may be highly beneficial, and or maybe, I just think I don't think it's a bad idea though, so.
But all of us have been in business for a lot of years, and I know there's absolutely nothing wrong with, like you mentioned, you know, stepping outside the box just a little bit. And we are stepping outside the box, and not very much money when you consider 257 bridges. You know, even though it's $9,000, that's a pretty small box to,
Right.
and, I mean, that'd be my reason. This is one time, maybe to step out.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, and I think that's all I have for today, unless you guys have anything else.
I've got one question on 22nd Road, is that going to be, I just had a question thrown out, is that going to be sealed?
You talking what we chip sealed this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fog seal, once we get done with 50, they'll move down to 22nd.
That was just a question.
Yeah. So our intentions are,
Right, I understand that.
Temperature sounds like they're finally gonna start cooling off, so
Yeah.
that'll affect our
Oh, you're,
fog seal, so.
the cooler the weather.
The plan is, yes.
Okay.
The cooler the weather, the longer that stuff
Okay.
takes to
Very good.
cure.
Sorry, I've got broken down stuff, so, sorry.
all right, well, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a letter that,
Okay.
on the hand you.
It's just,
Okay, thank you.
Anybody need a break?
Todd, did you have
take care.
I was just here in case there were any questions, regarding my department that were brought up today, so,
In the spraying or something?
yeah. Being as there was none, I don't have anything for you unless you have anything for me.
I know Ryan made a comment maybe last week, that some coordination between spraying and.
Yeah, we're gonna work together on that,
Makes sense.
yeah, absolutely, so.
Yeah, because, to the point, I mean, on the noxious weeds, you know, cerisa, et cetera. I think that comes into play also on.
Oh, absolutely.
On this discussion.
And honestly, more mowing is beneficial to us, so,
Yeah.
It is,
yeah.
it is.
And timing is
And
also
taking care of it
important.
naturally versus
Yeah.
putting chemical on it.
Right. And I do want to say, we don't target wildflowers. Wildflowers will die when we're spraying our noxious weeds, doing our jobs. But that is not a target of ours.
No, it's not.
But
That's not the intent.
That is not the
Right.
intent.
isn't a lot of what you're doing, though, and I shouldn't say that I'm assuming this, but wouldn't a lot of that be your spot spraying? I mean, do you spend a lot of time spraying a
We're gonna
whole
be-
ditch?
We're going to be broadcasting probably more often than we will be hand gunning.
Okay, that's what I'm
So,
wondering.
yeah. I mean, we'll hand gun Johnson grass, but our other noxious weeds, most of that's all going to be broadcast spray.
It is tough to spot spray.
Yeah.
It,
I mean, it would take way more manpower and way more equipment than what we've got, and way more money.
But you don't spray all our roadsides.
Well, we try. I mean, that's the goal,
Okay.
so. All right?
All
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving right along, if nobody needs a break, speak now, forever hold your peace. Yeah.
Can't see Brad taking an hour.
I hope not. I've seen him take that long. Brad, come on up, IT Director. Purchase of computers
Yes,
is the subject. for
is the
today.
subject, and want to do an official invitation to bid to replace all of our computers in the courthouse.
All of them?
All of them. We buy them all at once, usually when we buy to keep them the same. It makes it easier to manage if everything's the same. And the last time we purchased computers was 7 years ago.
No, it is
One-
time. It is time.
It is time. And so what we've been going with Dell computers, and I would like to continue that with their track record. They've been really good for us. So,
Now, this is just like desktop computers.
desktop computers, yes.
No servers or nothing.
No servers, anything, just everybody's desktop computers. Doesn't include laptops. Most offices will buy their own laptops. This is just pretty much every computer in the courthouse. And I went around and did a count. Did even 100 computers.
Easy number to multiply by, isn't it?
It is for a fact.
It is. Add a couple zeros.
Wow, this is in the capital outlay somewhere.
Capital outlay for technology, capital outlay, and I don't quite have enough for that for this year, but I do have a reserve fund for technology we can tap into. Yeah, I'll be close to being able to cover that.
what's normal? I mean, is this more, every 7 years, 5 to 7 years, or
3 to 5 years is normal.
is that right?
Yeah. Computer life is not very long. And these, the ones we purchased last 2017 did a really great job.
Maybe that's why mine isn't working too good. I mean, it's still.
Everybody keeps telling me.
Still has a squirrel inside it, a hamster inside it.
But, yeah, I'm gonna do a formal invitation to bid, and I have October 23rd is the day to report them, get the final bids in, and then I'll come here immediately, that Monday, that's a Monday. So, either mail or email to me. I've got 3 different people I know I'll send bids to, send one directly to Dell, see what we can get from
That's
them.
what I was gonna ask if you had, 'cause,
We're talking.
people need to be notified for
Yeah.
that short of a window, I guess, is what my thought is,
That's 3 weeks.
I know, but,
Yeah.
if you put it out and expect
Yeah.
bidders to find out about it on their own, that's
Yeah.
could be a little tight of a thing.
Put it on the website as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Has there been any replaced in between this
Yes,
time?
there's a
frame?
few that,
Are they gonna be replaced at once,
No.
or they're gonna be?
if they're been replaced in the last year, I'm not gonna replace them.
But there is.
The specs I'm going off of is a computer we purchased just last week, or 2 weeks ago. So that's the specs I'm gonna put out for the bids.
How readily available are, computers like you're talking about?
We shouldn't have any problem getting them before the end of the year. Yeah, it should be fairly close. Right now, they seem to be doing okay. Don't have the slowdown like we had.
I'm curious, what kind of cost are you expecting?
At least $1,000 a piece is what I'm expecting.
Presently now, all of them are pretty
Everything's
much,
still
pretty much
working pretty good.
identical.
Yeah, everything's identical, pretty much right now.
I can see where you might keep it that way.
So what we're getting with the
typing one up.
Newer versions of
the
what
newer
we've got.
version of the oldest thing we're using now, you might say
Yes.
they're compatible.
They're compatible, yeah. We will be going from a Windows 10 operating system to a Windows 11. And I asked all the offices if that would be feasible for them to do. You know, there's a couple offices, election stuff sitting, you know, the state election stuff. There was 2 computers they didn't want to, but I'll purchase them because they will eventually use them. So.
I haven't found it yet. I don't know
I
what you
just
said.
put it in, I was typing it in Word.
Oh, okay. So everything that is with the sheriff's office and the attorney's office, every system that they have to integrate with the computers, is all that gonna be Windows 11 compatible?
Yes.
Or is this gonna spark another, we've got to change this and this and this? Which is gonna cost more money.
Yeah, the sheriff's office, I went through with them and, you know, each computer that they use will be okay with Windows 11. Same with the dispatch. Most of the dispatch computers are purchased with their software. You know, when they get a new CAD system, they purchase a computer, so that doesn't include, you know, any computers for dispatch but 3 of them, which we call in-house computers.
Oh, okay.
So
They got special computers.
they got
for
special computers for,
systems,
yeah,
so.
correct. Radio computers with the radio system.
Gotcha.
Find it?
I'm scrolling.
Right there.
All right, here we go. We're going to make the date of being till 9 a.m. on October 23rd is the, better have that in the motion.
Okay.
We'll receive bids, sealed bids until 9 a.m. on October 23rd.
Okay.
Is that what you're agreeing with, Brad?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds good.
I just wanted to put it in the motion.
Yes.
You said 9 a.m. October 23rd?
Yeah, we'll receive sealed bids until 9 a.m. on October 23rd. That's my house.
I put it down as my office address or my email. And so a lot of this will be done,
Via email.
via email. Okay.
Okay. Until 9 a.m. October 23rd.
And when I get a final price, I'll have a better idea of what funds I'll need to tap into to do this.
Dell might cut a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
We're getting that.
And this won't include Office. Yeah, we'll have to, that'll be another bid later.
This won't include Office.
Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, and those, the Office suite. This is just the computers and
Just
computers.
computers, so you're gonna have to buy the,
Office separately. Before, 7 years ago, we purchased it as a single license for all the computers. Anymore now, it's a subscription, so it'll be a yearly expense. Yeah, of course. It makes it much more expensive.
Subscriptions are way better for them.
Yes.
All right, here's a motion. Based upon the recommendation of Technology Director, move to approve request to solicit formal sealed bids for Dell computers until 9 a.m. on October 23rd at the Technology Office, Coffee County Courthouse. Funds to be paid from Technology Capital Outlay.
Go ahead, listen.
I'll second. Moved by Meach, seconded by McCurdy. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, motion passes.
All right. Thank you, and I'll let you know how much this will cost.
Hopefully you come back with good news.
It's still gonna be expensive. Thank you.
Thank you. It'd be $9.99.
$9,999.
Morning, Saving.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Got anything new and exciting for us today?
Well,
We've got some time. I know you're not on the agenda, but we don't.
my usual 2-week update.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can give you.
I won't tell him he's got his time, he'll use every nickel.
We'll cut him off.
Yeah, I won't say 5 minutes to get it, but it shouldn't be that long. No, the quick update is, I'll go first through the SSM project. So again, so what you're aware, we're working on. We're working on the preliminary road design already, where we've made progress on the road design. We're continuing to do research on the wastewater system that Carl presented to you all. We still think that's going to be the right way to go. And we are taking the notes that I took from the meeting with you all about, we'll kind of look at it as, what if it handles the 3 buildings versus what if it handles the entire, how much footprint do we need? And I'll give you an update here as we progress with that. And then just the overall site design for the site itself to prepare for the building construction. We did submit a preliminary design report to the CDBG grant people, the people that are working on the grant and the loan. They required a preliminary design report, so that's been submitted. So again, we're kind of checking the box for the things to make sure that they have everything they need for the financing. For KSMC, we're wrapping up the traffic study. I think the last I reported to you that we had to respond to some comments from KDOT about traffic improvements in the area. We have been kind of moving slow on that work. We haven't heard any final word from EMP Shield on the Department of Commerce CHIPS Act funding. I did find out, I think, 2 sites in the country were awarded. I'm certain that part of, I say certain, my assumption is some of the holdup was the government shutdown looming. There wasn't a lot of other work getting done up in Washington, other than trying to keep the government open. I was actually in Washington last week, and so it was a bit of a chaotic on Capitol Hill.
My condolences.
Yeah. We'll just talk there. I'll just say yes. Yeah. There will be one thing. We're not starting on this yet. I will come back to you for direction or work through Bobby. But as Carl and I have been working with the water districts for the KSMC site, regardless of CHIPS Act funding or not, again, the information we have is they're going to move forward with the projects at some point in time. And water is going to be an issue. We have gotten good data from the companies about how much water they will need, but there's a point where we're going to need to do a water study with Wholesale 12 and Coffee 3 to make sure we're sizing things appropriately as to what needs to be upgraded. Backing up just a second, we included significant budget into the financing package to include paying for water, sewer. Again, those are dollars that would come through the financing of the project, not from Coffee County. And then the users would be paying back those expenses, so to speak, including engineering. So that's one of those. Again, my goal after meeting with you guys a month or so ago was kind of put things on your horizon that may be coming. So at some point that will be work that needs to be done. And I'm guessing that'll have to be done sooner than later, but just because once someone says go with construction, they'll need water for construction, they'll need things to keep things moving. So that's just a heads up. And then just a couple other things on road and bridge. We have continued to do drainage study calculations for different culvert pipes as they're looking at roads that have pipes that need to be replaced. Ryan's folks and Kenny send me their, here's the location and some of the data they have. Then we'll do drainage calcs on the watershed to determine what size pipe needs to go in. And a lot of times based on traffic volume, because you may have some very, very low traffic roads. I mean, extremely low. Like some are, 2 property owners on a road. Then we'll do the calculations, but it may be just fine to go back with the same pipe and allow that there are times when water will top the road. Just save the money, and it depends on traffic volume. So we've been doing those, and then we're trying to get some updates from KDOT on your 2 projects that have some KDOT funding, the old 50 highway and the 75 turn lanes, and get an update on those. So as soon as I get some more information from them, I'll report that to you.
I'm getting hammered pretty hard up there. When's 50 highway gonna be done? When's it gonna be done? I said it's supposed to bid this fall. Normally September is the bid month for next spring.
Both Kenny and myself have contacted KDOT, and they keep saying I'll say the word was final review, but we expected some response a month ago, I'll just say that, and so we're trying to figure out where we're at. I think they have a staffing issue, to be honest with you, about reviewing projects internally. Again, I'm guessing, but I do know that they've got a shortage of staff, so we're trying to stay on that. So that's my update. Did I do okay?
You're 6 minutes in my.
As far as SSM, now that we've agreed to sell the property, this is a question for everybody here. We've agreed to sell them property for X amount of dollars. They have everything supposedly in their budget, in their financing budget, to pay for everything. Do we need to be paying you to go out and do topos for their road, for their sewer, for their water, for their building, for their site? I don't understand that philosophy at all.
I would.
I mean, we just sold Mike Avondale a piece of property. He's not asking us to.
I don't know how to answer that question.
I know it gets hooked up to city utilities, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not doing a site plan for him. We're not doing the design of his building foundations. We're not nothing like that.
The sewer, it's my understanding that the sewer is going to be the county.
Yes.
And they're gonna be paying us a monthly service for the sewer.
Oh, okay.
That's the way I understand it.
Okay.
That's the way I've understood it.
And the road was actually going to be kind of a public road for all the businesses that are there, with an easement being provided by CanSeal to get stretched down the highway.
Okay.
So that was, and now I can't say the site grading, design was, I guess that's a question maybe for Bobby, is I think some of these costs were going to be transferred and included in the financing of the package, because what we were asked to do early on when they were getting the grant and the loans was to include all the infrastructure. So again, the county was not paying for those per se, but I don't know how the transfer of dollars would take place.
I just want everybody on the same page when it comes to the dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we've always been told the infrastructure to be paid by the entities that's going in up front.
But we're doing all the design, and it's not winding up being cheap.
But we did include design costs in the budget, in their budget numbers that's supposed to be reimbursed back to you all. So, we were asked to provide those numbers so that it could all be included in the financing.
So a piece of paperwork come through and I can't remember each
Yeah, no, it's,
paragraph and each.
this is,
Nor will I ever be able to.
well, this is why it's good that you guys requested I come and just take a few minutes to keep you up
Does,
to
it
date.
helps refresh us on
Yeah, so,
trying to remember
there's a lot going on.
what's been laid out.
Yeah, it was kind of my thing back, why in the world does the county want to be in charge of a septic system? But it sounds like a pretty simple,
Yeah,
at this time,
Right.
a pretty simple, self-sufficient system.
it appears that way to us as well.
But normally septic systems are not
Yeah,
self-sustaining
Right.
or simple.
right.
So, that was my thing, do we bite the bullet and pump it to New Strong and forget it for now and forever, and charge an X amount a month for it, or do we have this time bomb ticking away that's gonna cause a problem later on down the road? That was always my thought.
Well, and I'll say this, I mentioned we're looking into this, we haven't made a final decision on this, but the option is still on the table for that solution as well, but we're trying to investigate this, it's more of a expeditious, delivery that could happen to meet the need of the schedule they're trying to get at, and if we can size it correctly for future development at the airport, then I do think that's the best way to go, to be honest with you, is if you're gonna do this, make it a longer lasting solution than three businesses, so.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen up there.
Right.
We don't have any idea. We're all just speculating.
Yeah, real
And
uncertainty.
none of us are probably gonna be sitting here when it totally gets done
Yeah.
doing what it's doing.
Right.
And so, I'd much rather be more proactive versus reactive. And, well, this system only lasted 3 years.
Right.
I don't hand somebody else another.
I don't want to hand, yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of money to run sewer pipe from up there down there and have pump stations to get it where it needs to go.
But once you do it, you're done.
Yeah. I mean, is there not any property around there maybe a person could purchase for a lagoon system, which is off the property of the airport?
Well, we haven't looked into that. We could, we just looked into the guidelines of FAA about how far you have to be.
And it was a considerable distance,
Yes,
wasn't that?
yes, it's, I'd have to get the regulations. It's a very far distance. I wanna say it's every bit of half a mile.
I thought maybe even Carl said it was further than that.
It might be.
Because I asked him about going clear down the other end of the property, and
Yeah,
he
you
thought
can't
like
do that.
that wasn't even close.
No, that wasn't close at all. We did look at that one, cause
And that's because of
birds at the airport.
I don't remember the distance, but I thought it was,
I mean, there's a pond right across 75 highway within a half mile away from the airport that's been there forever and ever and ever. But it's new, is it new construction you can't?
New construction. Yeah. That pond probably predated
the airport.
in the airport. Yeah. Anyway, they're, again, just wanted to keep you up to date.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks
All right,
very
guys.
much.
See you. Have a good week.
You too.
Taking a break till 10:10?
Sure, that'd be great.
Take a break till 10:10. At 9:58. Kill switch. We're back. Got some checks and vouchers to sign here. Special issue. Get through them while we're waiting on our next victim. I'm the victim.
So is Greg and Serrano both Zoom?
Yes. part as well.
Okay.
Check some others.
That plugged in over.
Is it on, this comes over the top?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Plugged in. We don't need that hoot out, do we?
Might be a good idea.
You're back.
I got one other thing I wanted to mention, if I could take, this won't take Don more than a minute, so. I forgot to
cut
mention.
you off with that,
I know,
buddy.
you can't get the big hook and pull me out the door. I forgot to mention, KDOT starts their local consult meetings that they do for looking for projects around the state, this month. And, I was gonna attend on your behalf, Thursday, October 12th in Iola. It's from 9 a.m. to noon. This is where they go out and solicit from the locals projects that need to go. They believe that we believe need to go on their system. So our thought was to include the Highway 75 Old 50 work that would come with KSMC. KDOT suggested we make sure we show up and get this project at least in the hopper to be scored. And so I think it would be wise that we get this in the mix.
And when's it?
Thursday, October 12th in Iola from 9 a.m. to noon.
What is?
Bolus Fine Arts Center.
Would it be helpful if a commissioner was with you?
I think it would be absolutely great.
And there's our kids come into the courthouse.
Oh, that's government day.
I'd say it's not necessary, but if if anyone wanted to, that would be absolutely fine.
To say the government days this week, the consult is next week.
Yeah, next week on the 12th.
9 a.m.
I think it'd be a plus to be in Iowa.
This is October, isn't it?
Yeah. All month.
All month.
Yeah, they start their meetings around their districts tomorrow in Manhattan, then the 4th in Garden City, the 5th in Newton, the 10th in Hayes, the 11th in Salina, the 12th in Iola, the 17th in Lenexa, the 18th in Wichita.
And it's called the what?
It's called the Kansas Department of Transportation Local Consult Meetings. It's part of their IKE program, the 10-year road program. They started this will be the 3rd round. They started this, 4 years ago, where the state changed from doing a 10-year, here's the program of 10 years of projects, to it's a 10-year budget, and every 2 years they put projects into the pipeline to make it more available for locals to get projects. Before, if it was 10 years, you'd sit there and go, well, I gotta wait 10 years before I get a project on the list. And now the 2-year window allows people to bring projects forward.
Plus they're listening to the areas, what their need is versus 14, 15 people up there saying, let's do this, and let's do this. I heard we need to do this.
That's correct.
They're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth
Correct.
of the area representatives.
Correct. So,
Well, if it's all right, I'll have to go.
absolutely. I'll see you down there, get you down there, so. Anyway, I didn't want to leave without letting you guys know.
Okay, good.
What do you say the time was, 9 to
9 a.m.
And that would be the week of it. Unless Wade wants to come and take my place.
You go.
At dispatch.
Oh. No. Come on. Just shoot me and get it over with.
It's all computerized.
Yeah, I get it. Computer only knows what you put in it.
That's exactly right.
Couldn't understand what I put in.
We got prefect stuff.
Yeah, and I'll be unavailable for that too.
I wasn't available last time, so it's your turn.
My turn.
What day is it? I can't remember.
11.
Yeah, next week's kind of busy. Why do you have any roundtable stuff while we're waiting on Or,
His supposed to take long.
oh, it's broke. It's on. I would
Just
think
trying to
it-
make sure when I go live, we're not spinning and waiting for updates, because that seems to me what normal happens.
Pretty normal, isn't it? So is this a microphone too? Is that what it does?
A microphone
And
and a speaker, and then up here is a camera that goes
Okay.
full
whoever
circle.
talks,
Yeah, that's what I didn't know how it worked, just curious.
talks and movement.
Yes.
So if you sit still and you don't open your mouth, it won't put you on camera.
Okay.
There are no guarantees.
I give my arm a rest a while, then I'll lean back here.
Hi, Heidi.
Well, so I guess one thing that could be talked about is if you've been outside and you've walked around the courthouse, the border project, concrete border project is in full force in effect. They've been out there working on that since last week. I don't think it's complete. It's getting closer, but it looks pretty good. We've been out there and looked at it. They spent a lot of time compacting the ground and then putting in those bricks and the rock that won't impact the waterproofing that was done. So I would encourage you, if you have a chance, if you haven't looked at it, to go out and take a look. Clement's done good work out there. At least it looks.
Looks outstanding to me. I mean, they shot everything in with lasers, they strung line everything. Very, very nice.
Went through all the motions, so like.
It went, yeah, it's very nice.
Probably action.
It looked like they were out there with a level for each one of the bricks they put down. They had a line, they had a laser line, so it's not just something where they brought a bunch of rock, dropped it in front of the courthouse, and then just started putting it down. It was a whole lot more than that. So the next graduated phase that goes along with that would be the irrigation, and I've been holding on to several different estimates that were provided to the county in anticipation that would need to be addressed. I was going to bring it up early on, but then discovered that probably needed to deal with the landscaping or the rock border before you dealt with the irrigation. So a little bit later, when you come back to me, we can talk about that, and then you can make a decision if you want. You just probably want to make a decision before we end up in winter, because if you wait too long, then you'll have to wait till the spring.
Are the prices still good on the bids that were received, or was they only like 90 days or something?
I'll have to look.
Have to look. I don't want to drag them out too long, because I know things change.
Yep. So that's that.
Somebody sneaking in behind you, Wade.
David.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other place where we need an update.
Drop kick it.
Yeah, so.
Heidi, don't mean to put you on the spot, but do we have any updates for the special issue out here by the river bridge, the camping place and Lebo garage?
Up here.
You can.
So I have not heard from the applicants. They're north of the river bridge for the campgrounds recently. It looks like when you drive by, there's a bunch of rocks sitting there, like they want to put the rock on the path like they were planning to do. I can reach out to them, and then last I spoke with Jason, he was still trying to find someone to be able to put up the fence up there at Tito. He was having a heck of a time trying to find someone just to agree to come build it.
What's I seen there was some goats or some sheep in the campground area south of the river bridge. So I'm sure it's the Nature's Lawnmowers. I didn't know when that was expired.
The special use, you guys extended it till next year? Yes. It says around March-ish, you guys did it this year, so it'll be around March-ish next year when it would be.
And we have done a year on Lebo.
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
I thought we'd done a year, I thought we had them reversed,
Oh, okay.
but that's something I have to go back and look at.
She came in, didn't she? Didn't she?
Yes, Melissa Marquardt.
We're back,
Marquardt.
we're back into that, the end of our extension, I'm sure.
Yes.
Our extension, I think, was probably to July or I can't remember what.
I thought you given her a year though, because I had on my books you gave her a year. Lebo Garage, I can't remember that one for sure, but I remember Melissa, you gave her another year.
Okay.
So, that's what I was tracking downstairs.
I have a hard time remembering, so when I think of it, I try to
And that's why you got me to track it, right?
put it to somebody else.
I can get back with you on Lebo Garage when I go back and look at it.
Thank you.
I have to finish up some updates.
And we could watch Shotgun Wedding. Or Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah. Not seeing too much on my top 10 list.
There at the bottom, the summary, right turn 50. The center. Yeah. I'm about done watching football, Wolves Chiefs football.
The Jets are playing Taylor this weekend.
Jets are playing Taylor this weekend. Christmas. There you are. You did it, Wade, you did it.
All before 10:30.
1 minute till. It is 10:30, we're waiting for Raymond James, Greg Vernberg, and Kutek Brock, Joe Serrano via Zoom to discuss the SSM project, First Amendment and Development Agreement. There's Joe.
Morning, Chairman, how you doing?
I'm Alive and kicking.
That's important. I'm assuming Mr. Varnberg's going to join us, but I'm happy to start, and kind of tell you where we are on this, if you'd like, so we're not wasting time. Oh, there he is.
That's a still picture of him. I like that. I need that.
Yeah. And I don't know if Mr. Massey is going to join us. I sent him an invite. But if I may start, there's Mr. Varenberg. So I think we go ahead and get started if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Go for it.
Okay. So, as you know, on September 18th, we came down and we approved a development agreement with SSM for the CID at the airport facility. Included in that agreement was what we called an economic development assistance provision that allowed for it was a $300,000 line of credit with a local lender. How I drafted it was to ensure that any draws on that line of credit actually went into the project at SSM at the airport, so that they were CID eligible expenses. The concern came soon after we approved this agreement. There was a concern that really the need is for working capital as opposed to eligible expenditures associated with that facility and that project. So we, over the course of a couple of weeks with the county attorney and Mr. Varenberg and Mr. Massey and myself, we tried to work out a deal, and Mr. Skipper, to work out a deal that would be palatable for everybody. What we concluded last week was that the developer can have access to that line of credit, the $300,000 line of credit for working capital. However, when we issue the CID bonds, we will hold back the amount of the line of credit that has been outstanding plus interest at the maximum term of that line to ensure that that line of credit gets paid off either by other available funds, because you know there's a red leg in the B&I loans, or they're eligible expenditures, and that they go the CID eligible expenditures, so that we can't actually release those monies to pay off that line. So we had to kind of make this modification because I was pretty rigid in my drafting to ensure that that those eligible expenditures, any draw on for CID related funds, we're going to make certain that those get paid, used as CID eligible expenditures and pay off that loan when the CID bonds are issued. So we kind of had to tweak it. Again, it's a the protection that the county has for that line of credit is a holdback of the bond proceeds in the event that, you know, we just need to make certain that that line of credit is paid off. In terms of the document itself, I labeled it as a first amendment to a development agreement. One of the things that we were discussing was what are the eligible expenditures. The whole question that stalled us for 2 weeks was what are eligible expenditures. We know that the project budget was listed at a little over $20 million, but what we're dealing with the CID bond proceeds and the line of credit to some extent, lesser extent now, is really what are the CID bonds financing. So what we ended up doing is we revised the budget. The budget still remains the $20 million, but to isolate what the CID bond proceeds are financing, we had to modify what we labeled as Exhibit C, the project budget, and I put it as CID expenditures. In doing that, there were a couple changes that we had. So if I may, I'll tell you the changes in the development agreement. And the first one is amendment to Section 201, and the only thing that changed in this instance it had a reference to Exhibit C, the project budget, and that had that 20 million and some change as the project budget. We're revising that. So I had to change just the text of section 201, but there was really nothing significant in that modification on section 201. Section 406 is the modification to basically they have the ability to use the $300,000 for whatever reason that they want. However, we're going to, at the county level, not process any requisition unless and until we know that that $300,000 line of credit has been paid in full. Again, either from the USD loan, the Red Lake loan, CDBG loan, CDBG grant, to the extent available, any other available funds that are out there, or they're eligible expenditures that qualify under the CID Act. So that's a significant modification to this development agreement. That's the stall that we had. And I apologize, we're back before you, but it was important for the developer to have this particular provision in here. And then the final thing that we had is we are modifying Exhibit C to the original development agreement, and we're only listing those costs that are CID eligible expenditures. The reason why I was rigid on this deal was because we are offering as a final backstop, either to the loan or to the bonds, the full faith and credit of the county. And when we do so, we want to make certain that we have some protections as best we possibly can. Under the circumstances and the modification and the needs for the developer, we had to make some changes as we've discussed. But understand that the first pledge is a pledge of the special assessments that will be levied against the property. If, for whatever reason, the special assessments are not paid, then through a series of foreclosures or procedures for foreclosures, we can eventually take back that property. Why it was an issue for me is because, as you know, we're selling the property for $32,000, and if there's no payment on the special assessments, the value of the property and there has been no development, the value of that property is only $32,000, presumably. So I really wanted to make certain that monies are going in anytime we're using the full faith and credit, even as a backstop, that we're getting something in return for that. And so we kind of revised this budget. There's some soft costs that are still in here, but there's some equipment costs and some other more significant costs over and above the soft costs that really don't add to value. So that's my presentation for today. I will turn it over to Greg to add any additional color, unless you have questions for me.
I don't have anything. Morning, Greg.
Morning. Appreciate the chance to join you this morning, and sorry I can't be there in person. The only other thing that I would add to Joe's comments were that initially we had this very narrowly defined to where the line of credit would be paid off with the CID GO bond proceeds, which then meant that any draws on the line of credit to be paid off with the CID GO bonds would have to meet that statutory definition of CID eligible expenses. And even beyond the CID site, which is the location at the airport. And as you know, SSM has a line that they've been starting up at a different location. So any expenditures that they're making to get the SSM entity up and operational, if it's not made at the airport site, then they couldn't be made under that line of credit, that then in turn had to be paid off with the CID GO bond. So broadening the definition of where that line of credit can be paid off from, and again, it can be paid off from the USDA BNI loan, the Red Lake loan, the CID GO bonds to the extent that the draws were eligible, or even the grants or other funds that SSM might have. That allows SSM to then use the operating line for project costs that don't become CID eligible, and some of those could actually be at that satellite location that they're working on. So I would add that, but I agree with everything else that Joe had said, and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, I understand that, you know, they are trying to get up and operational, and I know they're running on tight budget. I see the need for the broadening of the contract, to get them started at the location number 1, which is in Lebo, and until they can get everything going at location number 2, which is the airport. They're trying to do this on a very tight budget, and I see the need for broadening. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I might also add that, you know, we've been still pushing pretty hard to get all of the other forms of financing to fall in place. And the USDA B&I loan is the one that really has the most, I shouldn't say timing challenges, but we have a requirement to get the feasibility study in and the appraisal in, and both of those are underway. And so, you know, we're hoping that within, say, the next 30, 45 days, we're focusing on closing these financings. So once we get those 2 pieces left on the B&I loan for USDA, then it feels like everything else is within our control to get these financings closed. And so this operating line, if you will, you know, ideally it's outstanding 30, 45, 60 days, whatever it takes to get all of these other financings done. So we're making progress on getting those other pieces to fall in place, and hopefully it won't be too much longer until we have, you know, all of this to where it's ready to close and complete the financing and pay off this operating line.
It's pretty much a guarantee that they're getting this red leg and the USDA funding. Isn't that correct, Greg?
Yeah, I would say we have approvals from the bank. That is, the B&I loan is the largest, and you know, the red leg and the CDBG, those feel like those have fallen in place nicely. They're just waiting to get the larger B&I loan closed. And the feasibility study, we spent a lot of time working with the feasibility consultant, providing information, and I would say that process is going really well. And then the appraisal is one that's, you know, if there's anything that comes out of the appraisal that, you know, creates a challenge or a concern would be if the appraisal doesn't come in at a high enough amount to allow for all of these financing pieces to come together the way we have it set up, then the company, we've informed the company they might have to bring an equity component to the project, and they've been prepared to do so. So that's really kind of the only open question is, do all of these pieces fit together as planned? Or if that appraisal comes in a little bit lower, then do we have to have an equity component to round this all out? And that's really, you know, you ask the question of, is it guaranteed to come together? I'd say everything has been approved. We're just waiting to see if that appraisal would require that they have to write an equity check to close on the B&I piece. That doesn't stop any of the financing. That's the only variable that we really have out there at this point. Does that make sense? It's kind of a long answer to your question, but that's where we stand on the financings, and really that's why we're anxious to get the appraisal in. That becomes kind of the last piece to this puzzle and puts us on a path towards closing of all of this.
Okay. Bart, are you online, or are you bad cell service?
I'm online. I don't have great cell service, but I'll be happy to answer.
If you ever talk to Bart, he's never in the right place with cell service.
Jesse, I did want to mention, I said the full faith and credit is a pledge. It really, for the line of credit, it's the collateral that is being pledged is the Economic Development Fund, not necessarily the full faith and credit. But as you roll into CID bonds, as Greg had mentioned, it's a CID GO bond, the GO being the general obligation, which is the full faith and credit. So I just wanted to clarify that for the record. For the line of credit, the collateral is the Economic Development Fund within the county.
Right.
Believe it or not, I understand 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If it's okay, if there are no questions, and it's okay with Wade, I did not prepare a resolution authorizing this First Amendment. I think you could just do it by way of an oral motion to approve the First Amendment to the development agreement and authorize the chairman to execute the same. If it's okay with Wade.
Yes.
And she'll be typing up.
Can you,
Repeat what you
repeat
said.
what you just said?
Yes, the motion would be, to approve the First Amendment to Development Agreement, Secure Semiconductor Manufacturing, and authorize the chairman to sign the same.
I could type.
Looks like Bart's back on, I wonder if he's got anything to add to what we've already, as we already heard.
He pulled up next to the library to get cell service. Didn't you, Bart?
Yeah, you're not too far from wrong, Jesse. It's in Eastern Kentucky. It's hit and miss, and normally miss. So so apologize, but really appreciate your all's help and efforts with all this. We're excited about being in Coffee County, and we have a little interim here until the loans close, hopefully sooner than later. But we've made a lot of efforts to move forward and excited about everything to come.
So with doing this First Amendment, Bart, this first addendum, will this help you guys get started with the Lebo construction, starting setting that up for producing up there, getting your line set up?
It'll help out with parts of it. There are a lot of things that we have to do to get it in place. There's approximately $80,000 to $100,000 in air conditioning, HVAC that has to be put in. We have about $80,000 more in construction that has to be done up there. And then we have to have the OEMs come in and place the equipment. So you can see the $300,000 is not going to go far enough to get that completely in place. So whenever the loans close, we'll be able to get those. We'll be able to get that stuff moving immediately. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully sooner than later. Greg's on here, but we talked about from the 15th of October till potentially the 1st of November. It may go longer with the government shutdown pending, et cetera, things of that nature. But, Lord willing, hopefully it's sooner than later.
Agreed. All right, we have a motion to approve the First Amendment to the Development Agreement, Semiconductor Manufacturing, and authorize and direct the chairman to sign the same.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Hugan and seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have the original or do I have it? Does it matter? Running a little early. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. Oh. Easy? Aye. Aye?
Is that right?
A-B. A-B. There's no V in it.
Maybe respell that. No, it's spelled E-W-I, it's pronounced A-B.
Okay. Teachers always had problems with me. All right, we're ahead of schedule. We'll hit our 11 o'clock. Russ Seavey, discussion related to planning and zoning consultant, or whoever.
Chairman, I'm gonna ask that Mr. Avendroth, the Chairman of Planning and Zoning, he stand up and he start this dialogue.
Okay.
Hi, guys, thanks for seeing me again this morning.
Maybe he's gonna counter offer that.
We better take care of the agenda first, and then we'll talk. So,
For some reason, Beetlejuice comes to my mind.
So, last board meeting, planning and zoning, we had several applicants we interviewed, and the board pretty much was unanimous with Mr. Avey. So, if guys like, I go ahead and present them, and this is the one that the planning board kind of requested, and got the intent to talk about as retaining as our planning consultant for the county. So, if any questions, we can address them and talk to him about it, and see what your thoughts are. Tom, you were there at that meeting, you're familiar with
I think
the
the
way it
way
was. So, but, Mr. Avey?
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, Chairman. Russ Avey. I'm with Boffman Company, a civil engineering, surveying, and planning firm out of Wichita, Kansas. I graduated, just to give a brief overview to some that may not know me very well, I graduated with a master's degree from Kansas State University in 1995 and had worked the subsequent 4 years with the Wichita Sedgwick County Planning Organization, handling mainly what we called current planning events, which is your standard zone change, platting, subdivision, lot splits, things of that nature. In 1998, I went to work for a Boffman Company, a local consulting firm, mainly dealing in land development issues around south central Kansas, as a zoning advisor, as well as a community planning specialist and an advocate for development applications. So oftentimes I present to planning commissions and county commissions a development application for your approval. I think that gives me a strong foundation, seeing the other side of the coin, to best assist local governments in managing those development applications. And so I've done that for just over 25 years, coming up on 26 years in the spring. Over the last 15 years, I've been slowly transitioning to more of this type of planning consulting work. I currently work for Sumner County, Reno County, down in south central Kansas, as well as your neighbor to the north, Osage County, and Marion County on an active basis. I'm also the zoning administrator for the city of Park City, Kansas. I do that, I'd say maybe 10 hours a week, handling all their development applications. And that's one of the faster growing suburbs of Wichita to the north. When we spoke a little bit a few weeks ago during the interview process, it became clear that in a similar vein to many rural counties, there are larger scale development applications that somewhat you could classify as a once in a lifetime. I think Wade called them a once in a lifetime type of large scale land use decisions, and those are something that I've also had the experience, I was going to say pleasurable experience, but the experience of dealing with 3 large scale wind farm projects, 2 of which ended in litigation, as well as creating a prohibition on all renewable energy systems for Osage County at their direction of their county commission. So certainly able to hit the ground running as far as those types of applications. I know that there was a potential solar project on the horizon as well. Those are things that I'm very, very current on and have a certain amount of experience with handling. So if there's any questions for me, we can start in on that. If there's any questions about the contract in front of you, it's a very standard contract that Wade and I kind of added to and subtracted from. Hopefully it's acceptable to the commission. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
You had mentioned not wanting to nickel and dime the county, but that's not how you practice. Maybe just to talk about what your fee structure is, how much time you plan on putting in.
Certainly. Yeah, I often jokingly refer to myself as the worst consultant in the world because I'm not looking to grow the business necessarily. So I have a finite amount of time to devote to my consulting work. As I mentioned, work for a civil engineering firm, so the bulk of my salary and the expectations of the company that I work for are not necessarily in growing this side of the business. So I'm not in a situation to where I need to get my foot in the door with a new client and then start to expand my hours to justify some expense back home. So in that circumstance, I really want to do, personally and professionally, want to do only as much that the county requires and nothing really more. And I think as in any area of local governance, there is the ability without some type of overview to where consultant fees can grow. And so here, I think it's going to basically be, you're going to see my expenditures flow with the level of casework that the county sees. And so the larger issues are certainly going to require a lot of time. As I mentioned, some of these large-scale renewable energy applications that I was a part of in one fashion or the other can take an extensive amount of time. So clearly the billings are going to bloom in those circumstances. But month in and month out business throughout the state really seems to fall into very traditional categories of people wanting homesteads, and so we look at a lot of lot splits and maybe a few rural businesses that would require a non-residential zone change. Very rarely do we get into subdivision activity at the county level, so rural subdivisions for housing stock may or may not come as employment hopefully grows over the next 5 to 10 years. Based on what we just saw here with some of the economic development projects coming online in the near future. So from that standpoint, really what I do with my contacts, and in this situation it's going to be Heidi primarily, is if there's a phone call, no matter how many years we spend in the profession, at 28 years now, for me, I still get questions primarily coming from the rural counties in Kansas, not from back home at Sedgwick County, where you would think some of these more novel questions would be raised first, but actually I receive a lot of questions about random things that come down the pike. And so I'm not charging Heidi for each 15-minute increment of phone calls. That type of advisory role is something that blends into my weekly, hourly expectations from my company. Again, I have a lot of overhead hours that I can devote to simple phone calls. So if it's taking less than an hour of our time, that's something that I'm not accounting for and billing you every 15 minutes, like an attorney would. Sorry, Wade, no offense.
45
stepped into that rate.
45-minute phone, just a lot of them throughout the week.
Hang up, you gotta wait 5 minutes before you call back. No, it's gonna be fair. There again, it's a situation where I think maybe you all would have experienced that a little bit in your interview process, but for whatever reason, planning is not immune from a profession of having less and less people in that profession. So I never really kind of wanted to be statewide planning consultant necessarily. I was very happy doing what I was doing, but one of my mentors, if not the primary mentor in my professional development, was a gentleman named Dave Yearout, who was kind of the other, the yin to Mr. Foster's yang in the planning world. There were several other planning consultants here and there that did the bulk of what I would consider rural Kansas city and county planning. They've either retired, passed away, and has kind of left a vacuum to where I'm receiving quite a bit of calls. And I think that may have come across in my interview of making sure that I'm not over-promising my time to devote to Coffee County. And I think the cost savings and the expectations from my worldview met nicely, I think. We've arranged to where I will, upon request, be in attendance here for, I would have to say, more intensive land use decision application or land use applications. Otherwise, I can certainly jump on a Zoom call to help advise however I can. So from that standpoint, I think my capacity to serve the county as well as the county's needs are going to, I think, find a nice balance.
So of your past experiences, you might not have to be reinventing the wheel. You've already ran across it and can implement it into our county as well, which saves time and money.
Certainly. When you just have been doing this, like any profession, when you've done it long enough, you see how other people do it. So I certainly carry with me my philosophy on land use regulations. I have my own set of subdivision and zoning codes, for example. I am not the consultant, again, that's going to want to charge you $20,000 to put yours in the dumpster and to implement mine. I certainly, again, as I mentioned, in Park City, Kansas, that is a Foster-esque. Bigley's son, David, had wrote those regulations, I believe, for Park City. So I'm accustomed to implementing and administering what I would just call the Foster regulations already. And so I am not, I have my professional opinion. You will certainly be getting my professional advice. If the time comes for a regulatory change, we can certainly discuss that. I think I very much enjoy my regulations from the standpoint that they're highly flexible, more so than a traditional, what we call a Euclidean zoning code, which is, Ag, R1, R2, C1, I1, the standard zoning districts. So what I do is we typically bust out we have an agricultural district and however many residential districts are necessary depending on the development patterns of the county. Everything else that's non-residential is handled through a conditional use permit. So it's a public hearing, so if you want to develop, say, a fuel distribution center, co-ops oftentimes will have either anhydrous or natural gas depots, so they don't have to travel so far when they're filling up and serving farms. That's a conditional use. You want to do a welding shop, conditional use. You want to do a church and school, conditional use. You want to do a chip manufacturing plant on a half section of ground, it's conditional use. You want to do a wind farm that's going to encompass townships, conditional use permit. So there again, I find that that's very flexible, and you can assign, since each location within your county is going to have different unique qualities as far as transportation, as far as neighbors surrounding the property, floodplain, etc. You're able to account for site-specific issues through a conditional use permit and not having to worry about a zoning district that not only allows what you've approved it for, it also prevents the negative consequence of opening up the rest of that zoning district for future development. You could sell me your machine shop, for example, and I can run an incredibly different business out of it because they're all permitted in the industrial or commercial zoning district. So again, not looking to change the way the county has been dealing or operating under the current zoning regulations. If there's certain modifications, that happens all the time, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. There are potential amendments to that. So again, I feel sometimes like a contractor, and I ask the home buyers whether you just want me to remodel the kitchen or add on a dining room, or build you a new house. We're set up to do whatever it is the county wants, whenever the county wants to do that. But right now, if we just need to fix a few leaky sinks, then we'll certainly jump in on that and worry about the big, long-range stuff as needed.
Any questions for the gentleman from the board?
I don't have it. I don't get it.
Sounds like
your role first.
Sounds like her.
There are scars that come with lawsuits, and that's the other thing is, that we had talked a little bit about. You know, under this contract, I work for you. I work for your citizens and your constituents, and I take that obligation seriously. It is, I feel as I'm a very loyal person, and certainly the freedom to ask any of the people that I work with currently that situation, but you know, we try to do everything that we can to minimize harm to the public, and we also try to operate in such a way that we protect the county from litigation in any land use decision that we do. And that means an eye towards consistency in how we apply our regulations, and certainly a disciplined process of getting the applications processed through the statutory protocols that we have. And if something, we can't prevent people from litigating the county over a land use decision, but we can certainly buttress its defense. And I look forward to working with Wade in that capacity as well. So.
As long as you had a hand in this, we need to make a motion to pass it.
We went back and forth a couple times, fine-tuned some words, so that one of the original versions had the word employee, and we wanted to take the word employee out, not to create an issue where someone could interpret that as so we've gone back and forth.
Yeah.
I finally had the approval of Russ last week of the version that I sent to him, so that's what you have in front of you. The original should have my signature. The only other thing that wasn't discussed, and just as part of an open meeting, is the rate structure, which is $150 per hour. That's written into the contract, and then the term is from today, if you approve it, until December 31st of 2024, which is within the contract as well. So I would suggest a motion to approve and sign the contract for consulting services of Russ Huey, a certified planner, to provide consulting services in the administration of land use regulations and planning services for Coffee County at a rate of $150 per hour, beginning today and through December 31st, 2024. And then the only thing is where those funds will come from.
I think they're getting the fund, what? She's got a motion on the computer. You can
I'm working
see.
it, stuff like that.
I rattled stuff off pretty quick.
Yeah.
County improvement, community improvement reserve, or 1.7.
I mean, it's just, like I said, she's got a different idea of it. That's what this is about.
Russ, do you charge anything for travel time to and from?
No, it's all in that $150 hourly rate.
So the next hour and a half to get here, you're charging for $150 for that?
Yes.
The contract says mileage is established by the IRS.
I think that's maybe a redundancy that I didn't pick up on. We won't send $150 per hour plus mileage. So if we want to strike that, we certainly can. And to be perfectly honest, we don't feel comfortable signing that. We'll certainly wait till next Monday or 2 weeks from Monday to strike that.
Pass it with
Well, I've got it on my computer, so I can go strike that and then reprint it.
It's perfectly fine with me. Yeah, that's not the intention. Thanks for.
So you're fine just at the
$150, yeah.
That was
no.
gonna be my
Yep.
question. No,
and while we're talking about that, typically if there's anything like a rewrite of the regulations or a comprehensive plan update or something that's outside the month in and month out daily business of your planning commission, then we would probably handle that as a separate contract so you have more control over that particular element. So, for example, it would prevent me from opening up a comprehensive plan update project and just dumping hours into that side of it.
Right.
You would have a better accounting of that, what my time is spent devoted to general business versus a special project.
Wage, are you referencing the top of page 2?
Here, down there, compensation, on the first page, it says, billed at a rate of $150 per hour for each hour, plus mileage at the current rate established by the IRS. I mean, I just saw that, or
Usually agreed to otherwise by both parties.
so. Well, it says, yeah, that that's what's going to be charged, unless agreed to do else otherwise.
Because we talk about it on the top of page 2 a little bit as well, but that is any work outside of the contract. So the second sentence of the top paragraph on page 2 probably could stay. But I agree with you on the bottom of the page, the first page.
So we're removing,
Plus mileage at the current rate established by the Internal Revenue Service.
On both pages, and basically.
well, just on page 1, on page 2, it's for outside work, or additional work.
You're gonna have a
Still says
mileage.
the same thing.
Yeah, we can,
Can we remove the plus mileage?
yeah.
Well, it went up 10% too, from 150, it's gonna go up to 10%. Is that not correct? For anything outside? Anything outside of the scope of work that you do for us is gonna be the 150 plus 10%,
Correct.
165.
165.
Which is still close to $100 cheaper than most of the applicants for you.
Oh, I should have raised my rates.
Not for a year, you can't.
Oh, he hasn't signed yet either. So this is where I also jokingly, not jokingly, say that I am not a shareholder in Baughman Company, PA. So I get paid when I get paid. Anything beyond that is golf for the owners of the company. So again, not looking to build an account.
Sure.
You want me to go reprint this?
We can run the motion, can we not? Well, it does say move into a contract, so it's, anyway. Motion to enter into a contract for consulting service, assist in the administration of land use regulations and planning services between Baughman Company, PA, Russ Eby of Coffee County, Kansas, for assistance in the administrating of the county land use regulations and providing other assistance deemed necessary to support the county at a rate of $150 per hour. Contract beginning October 2nd, 2023 through December 31st of 2024. Funds to be paid from, unless Angie has.
I was gonna say community improvement.
I know a lot of times we pay out of courthouse general, right, Heidi?
That's what you did in the past on the last thing.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to do general fund courthouse general again, or if you want to do the reserve, or if you want to do general fund community improvement.
I don't wanna reinvent the wheel, so whatever you're accustomed to doing is fine with me.
We did the general fund, that's just
Courthouse
general
general.
fund, yeah, last time.
Good, fine.
General fund.
Funds come from the general fund. Courthouse. Treasurer. funds to be paid from the courthouse general contractual line item. That's all the
Ready,
motion.
you think? Also move.
Moved by Huguet,
I'd second that.
seconded by Thompson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you.
We'll get the contract redone and I'll sign it today.
All of you.
Oh, all of us have to sign it.
Wait, have you?
I'll go fix it.
We
Right
can
now, those additions,
sign the back page, can we not?
deletions.
Yeah, nothing else.
Yeah, the back page has to sign. We can go ahead and roll through the signature, can we? It's on the back page. You're
You're
gonna
only
redo
changing one page.
1 and 2. Thank you. Thank you. We'll wait.
I mean, you know,
We'll wait. Make sure.
We'll make sure you get the page.
Right.
yeah, so it don't end up, set it on the page different or something, and redoes it.
Yeah. We'll just wait.
Sheriff, you look all relaxed from the big weekend off.
Uneventful, which is what I like. Somewhat
Uneventful is okay.
Yep, is a thing.
Well, you're up next, Sheriff.
Are we on time? Are we on schedule?
We're a little bit over 11:18, but we've got the rest of the day to.
Well, hopefully, this ain't gonna take about 15 or 20 minutes, then I don't want this rest of the day stuff. So I got 3 items today. First thing I'd like to talk about is, every year, we have issues down at the annex. Between the annex and the water rescue building, where we park, is huge low spot there. We park 5 or 6 vehicles in there, and water stands continually, just nothing but mud. Water runs into the water rescue building. It's just a mud hole. So every year, we ask Road and Bridge, Highway Department, to come down and put some gravel in there, whatever. We're asking for that to happen again. I've talked to Adam and Ryan. They've talked to little Kenny, because at some point they shot that and to see the elevations, to see what we can do there. So we're sitting there talking about this last week, and I got to admit, you know, Eric's a great asset for me. And he goes, you know, if we're looking for laydown space and they're going to put gravel there, why don't we gravel that area in front of the water rescue building? And that will be an additional, you know, area for laydown. So Ryan said, easily done. We can look at the grading, if it needs to have a little whistle put in there, you know, or a tube or something to make sure the water flows. Because I think the water flows west there, I think. But anyway, they were going to look at all that. And I told the guys that I would be talking to you today, just what I'd like you to do, if Ryan comes to you and talks to you about it, I'd like you to approve to have them put some gravel in that area between the 2 buildings, and then just go ahead and level that out in front of the water rescue, and let's put some gravel there. It'll be additional parking if the time ever needs it, but right now, they're gonna look for laydown area, and if we can put equipment right there, there's a camera on the west side of our annex. It shines in that direction. It'd just be another area to put stuff for this laydown for the project. It's coming up. Now's the perfect time to do it. They can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So just for that consideration, I'd like you guys to think about that. So no more than some gravel and a little work from them. Be easily taken care of, I think.
Of course, I'm saying just go ahead and get it done.
Yeah.
You're not talking about any major funds at all,
No,
so
no.
get it done.
Gravel, and have them come out possibly and either level some stuff out there. We're gonna probably scrape that grass sod off right there and put some rock in there, and throw in some rock between 2 buildings to level that out.
And that should take care of the standing water problem.
Well, we're hoping so. I mean, because again, it's nothing but a mud hole. It's just a really low spot when you pull down off the street down to the annex there between those 2 buildings. It's just a mud hole. So it has been for years. Anyway, thank you. If you guys approve that and say go ahead and do it,
Yeah.
I'll
Yes,
let,
sir.
You're
talking on the north side.
Yes, north side of the building, you know.
Along Potomac.
Yes, sir, right along Potomac, just go ahead and gravel that all the
Yeah.
way to the west there.
Yeah.
So if you guys say it's okay, I'll let them know that I brought it up to you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys. Second of all, so vehicles, it's time to look for vehicles again this year, as we always do, this time of year, start looking. We were notified, Wednesday that there will be no more police cars, period. Chrysler has said they're not building them anymore. So when we could get patrol cars, they were usually about, $15,000 cheaper than a truck. But right now Chrysler said they're not making them anymore. So now there is not a single car in the United States being built for law enforcement. None. So, yeah. So we call our folks, serve over at El Dorado, Andover, and they say, Tom, you're right, and we have one setting here. One, right now. Built, ready to go. So, part of my 2024 budget is to obviously buy vehicles. I need my regular vehicles purchased. So, they quoted me a price of $48,787 for this patrol car. It's totally outfitted. It's $15,000 cheaper than buying a truck. I called both Cromartie Chevy and Ford to see about a truck that we can get. We can't get a truck on the lot for that price, not alone equip it with everything.
What's that equipment cost, the upfitting?
So about $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 to either strip one out, our old one, and put that stuff back into it. This year, we're putting in new cameras, for example. So we already have those cameras purchased, or will have. They're $8,000 a piece. So we take them the radar, the camera system, the cages that go on the back, if a cage will retrofit into one, and we give them that, and when we go out to get it, we literally have to drive back, plug a radio in it, and put it on the road. It's all done. Everything's done.
I just wonder what portion of that was the additional equipment for your needs.
Yeah, push bumpers. I refuse to have a police car or a truck on the road without a push bumper pad. I mean, we're popping deer, the way it goes, and we've had several hits that's had minor damage, bent up the bumper or busted out a headlight, and if we didn't have that push bumper on, it would have been the whole front end. For $800, whatever it costs us to put a bumper on it, I put bumpers and everything. It's just, it's a no-brainer in my book. So as you well know, like the one I have on my vehicle, we got free from Douglas County. They bought a whole bunch of them, they wouldn't fit their older vehicles, and I said, you betcha. So we got 2 of them to put on, free of charge. But what I'd like to do is one of 2 things, is I don't have $50,000 in my budget to go buy this vehicle. I will come January 1. What I'd like is one of 2 things, either let me buy that vehicle now and go get it, or they've allowed me, they said, come get it, Tom, you do business with Tom, come get it, and pay us January 1. Now, I don't know how Wade thinks about that, us going and getting the vehicle, them handing us the title, and we're not paying for it until January.
Where I come from, that'd be their problem.
So I'm asking one way or the other. We told them, said, give us till Monday, I need to go talk to commissioners about purchasing this vehicle. Guys, there's a no-brainer here, I need this car.
Yeah, you need to go.
Absolutely, I need this car. The trucks, just to let you know. So I said, okay, I need 3 trucks. And you're our folks, and they said, Tom, we'll get them ordered. But if this strike goes on and continues the way it is, we can't tell you when we're gonna get trucks. It's gonna be that way all over. We had a vehicle a week ago blow an engine. One of our older vehicles, it's 2020. Said, fine, put a motor in. I cannot afford to buy a new truck. They said there's one in the United States that'll fit this vehicle. Because of the strike, they're already saying there was one. We procured it, we got it sent to us, it's in that vehicle, I think got done Friday or supposed to be done today. That's how bad it's already gotten, and it's just 2 or 3 little plants.
Well, I'm sure dealers are grabbing it.
Absolutely.
Too. They're
Absolutely.
buying these parts up.
Yeah. So, that's my dilemma, is I'd like to get this vehicle, I need this vehicle probably just to save money in the long run, but how do you want me to do it?
Well, the one thing you didn't know when we talked was, are they gonna give you a title?
They will. They said, well, when you come get the vehicle, you'll have a title with you when you come back.
You mean they know where we live?
Oh, believe me, we've done business with them for years now. Great company, great company.
Know where to come refill it.
Yeah, well, that's what I told him. I said, well, I understand that we hit a deer on coming home. I'm coming home with it, you know, who owns this vehicle? You know, I'm not, I said, I'm not coming to get it if I can't get the title. So, so.
I think if they're gonna give you a title, you can get it tagged, that was the key.
We can do like we always did, folks. We can call out there, get the VIN number off of it, you know, get us a paper tag to go out and already have the insurance done and get it tagged when we come back.
And then you not pay for it till after the first, at the first of the year.
He told me, he said, Tom, pay for it January 1 when your budget comes through.
Very good.
So.
All those wage come.
Write an IOU on a napkin.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if that's what you want me to do, then I'll confirm it today and we'll go get a bid.
If they're gonna give you a title and you can get it tagged, then.
You don't already head that direction?
Believe me, if I had time today, I'll have somebody headed that way to go get it.
I've got a 13 old sheriff's vehicle I can go back to if you're.
Yeah, believe me, some of these days, 2 weeks ago, it was a possibility that might happen, so. I appreciate that. So the last thing on the agenda is back in July, I believe, late June, July, I talked to you about KPNF retirement. You said let it set until October. You guys want to talk about it until then. So it's time to talk about it again. If we're going to do this January 1, I need, you know, all of November, October and all of November to get this paperwork done and get it in because it needs to be in December 1st as their requirement. So it's time to think about it, I guess.
Well, there's been a lot of thinking about it.
There has been.
There's been a lot of thinking about it. I know. We knew the day was coming to act or run scared, one of the two. Today's the day. I just, I don't have an issue going to this other program. I don't agree with buying in, spending $1 million on buying everybody in. I guess I would be in favor of, I wouldn't be opposed to changing to that for new hires, but I guess my position is I wouldn't be in favor of buying into that.
For the past.
Buying everybody out.
For the past time.
Yeah, the buyout, yeah.
But they would start now, right?
But then, they would start now.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's one or none. Either, if you agree to do this, January 1 of '24, everybody is covered under KPNF.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's what
Yeah.
I mean, all the current employees would join at that time.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
correct.
I agree with Steve, and that's my
I
feeling.
mean, that's just my position on
No,
that.
I understand completely. Guys, it's like I told you before, it's not to be taken lightly. I mean, for you as a commission, either it's gonna cost you $77,000 for the next 15 years to buy us out, or you can pay lump sum, which is right at $1,033,000, I think.
Right.
But $1 million to buy us out, yes, that's a life-changing event for these guys, but that would just be to cover whatever time Coffee County's had. And again, like I told you earlier, the reason I bring it up now is you got enough young guys in here, it'll never be this cheap again, ever. But again, if you decide not to do that, and apparently, that's the consensus here, changing this over to KPNF January 1 of '24 is still the beginning of something that most of these young officers don't think about. You're starting a plan in 2024 for the future that's not only a hiring and retention tool for me, but it is going to change these young guys' lives when it's time to retire. But that's the big thing with KPNF is the retirement, plain and simple. Disability benefits, the life benefits are double and triple what Capers is. If you are a Tier 3 Capers employee, think about this. If you were hired on or about January 1 of 2015 and further,
a tier 3 employee, you're putting in a third of the contributions. Basically, all that tier 3 employee doing is you're a bank and he's drawing interest on what he's paying in. I mean, come on. Who here in this room would do that in their, you know, lifetime? Want to just put in what you're putting in and nothing's being contributed. A tier 3 employee that Capers tier 3 is really bad. But that's the way it is. That's what the state offers as a tier 3, and that's just what it is. So am I going to go home and cry that you don't switch us over January 1, 2024? Absolutely not. It is a life-changing event. I've said I wanted to do that when I came into office. It's taken me almost 4 years. If that gets done, that would be great.
Well, I look at it that, just like you said, I mean, it's a tool. We want to retain
Absolutely.
all these good employees, you know. I mean, I think that's going to be
huge.
Just for the market of law enforcement around us, but also just the market of employment that looks like we're going to have in the county.
Yes.
We don't want people leaving law
That's correct.
enforcement either.
That's correct.
To go to other
Yeah, like I said,
employment, you know.
It is an unbelievable tool. I've had, like I told you the stories, I've had people, when I came here, through the last 3 years, that I've wanted to hire. We've had openings, and as soon as they find out we're Capers, because they're already KPNF, they say, Tom, I can't leave. How can I leave, you know, a KPNF retirement and come to a Capers?
Right.
And so I've, you know, lost the opportunity to hire some good people because of it. So, guys, I am not going to belittle anybody for moving this to KPNF however I get it done. Whether it be January 1, we start as a new entity, which is great, or the buyout. So,
you know, we've talked about the atmosphere that our law enforcement is in front, possibility of issues all the time. And right now, Franklin and Anderson County is the only two that's got it, and the county's all wrapped around us. As of the date this was printed, you know, you go into, just like we would be, we got 150 employees in our county. How do the 90% of them look at it if these employees are getting a substantial, I don't know what you call it, a raise or what you want to call it?
It's a benefit.
It's a heck of a benefit, but how do they look at it that they don't have the opportunity also to them when they're a very key employee throughout the county?
I didn't make this benefit. The state made this benefit. If they want the benefit of getting the enhanced retirement benefits, come fill on that, folks. If you want to take the liability of everyday stress that goes on in this line of work, having the ability to take the civil liberties away from somebody at the spur of a moment and or life from them, and they want that liability, they want to keep putting on the training that we have to go through every year, maintaining that criteria. Come on, folks, I'm more than happy to take your application.
Well, that's been brought up to me, was, you know, well, what about the other county employees? I said, well, I guess they can go apply at the sheriff's department then.
So Don, just, and the map shows here,
To that, you know.
so Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Chanute, Yates Center, Anderson County, Coffee County, Lyon County, Osage, two agencies in all of Franklin County, all of Miami County. I mean, all those around.
You get far enough out, there's a few of them. The counties to the west of us, there's not a lot of counties involved in it, but there's definitely counties to the.
Yeah, other than Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua there on the line just west of us are not. But that's not saying, again, I mean, let's be honest, folks.
But this is only offered to law and fire.
Kansas Police and Fire, yes, sir, it's, yeah, full-time fire and full-time law enforcement.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this first study we looked at, I'm not totally against everything. I mean, I'm just trying to keep my thoughts open. But you have 19 employees involved now?
That's correct. Okay. Yep, 19 full-time.
Are you full?
No, I haven't, well, as far as full-time, yeah. Yeah.
As far as deputies?
Yep.
Yeah, last time,
I still got.
because you got filled up here 5 or 6 weeks ago, I think filled it up.
Yeah. So other than having a couple of part-time guys downstairs for the
courthouse security, yeah, okay.
So how many total people work in your department?
61 total.
Okay.
But only 19 of them, roughly 19 of them are gonna be on this KPN.
That's correct.
That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I just wanted
That's just your
that number
full-time
stated
officers.
was all.
Full-time, yes,
Right.
certified law enforcement officers, yes, sir.
They got to be a patrol officer.
They have to be certified
Certified.
full-time. So like I said, if you're working part-time hours, even though somebody retires, comes in, still have certification, unless they're working full-time and they're a certified officer, they're not qualified for this.
I see.
Yeah, they have to be a certified full-time officer.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, you can't come to work for me as a part-time guy and get KPNF benefits.
You've got a pretty high criteria then.
That's
to
correct.
receive it, and
That's correct.
how I would view it.
That's
you know.
correct. Yeah, if you, the way I put it is, if you're willing to give the ultimate sacrifice, then that's a benefit from this county, is that KPNF.
I think even though going to KPNF is still gonna cost, I think it's still gonna cost $750,000 a year extra, isn't it?
No, it'll cost you the first year, I gave you those things, I think it's right at $100,000.
$100,000 extra?
$100,000 from what it would be.
I think that's 700.
Do you remember that?
It's been a long time.
770 is what it's gonna cost you to buy us out. Yeah.
Over time.
$79,000 a month or a year for 15 years, or $1 million worth of $770,000 to buy us out.
That's right.
1.191 somewhere in there, so.
No, it was $770,000 to buy us out.
Right.
But if you go with the payment, what I want you to know is the payment. If you do the 10-year payment, it's $1 million. If you do the higher payment for 10 years, then it's 1.033, But to buy us out, it was $777,000.
But just to switch you over as of January 1.
Won't cost you a dime.
Won't cost a dime, but it'll be an extra $70,000 a year.
It'd be an extra, I figured out, I think for 2024, based on what my budget should be, it'd be almost $100,000.
Right.
Okay.
Which is, according to those numbers, an additional, well, what you're paying right now is what, the 79 for Capers benefits, $100,000 in addition to that.
Yes.
To switch over to KPN.
But that's that extra, 22.9% or whatever total that you're paying instead of 16%.
Right.
So,
And Don, maybe just to follow up on your comment about what do you tell other people? I've been on the prosecution side almost 20 years now. The type of things that law enforcement has to deal with on a regular, ongoing basis, they get spit at, they get, in today's day and time in this climate, there's a lot of people who are not fans of law enforcement on the county liability side. If you have benefits like this, you're going to attract and retain people who are at an upper tier in professionalism, who Tom can keep, and they'll be here for years and years to come. Because if you have law enforcement officers who are, and there are bad apples from time to time, they will cost the county or wherever they work dearly, the potential on the civil liability side. So these guys go out and put their name and life on the line on a regular basis, and if you look statistically, and I don't have those statistics in front of me, more officers are killed in the line of duty during routine traffic stops than any other type of encounter. So when they make a traffic stop on 35 or 75 or anywhere in remote Coffee County, that could be that person who just committed some crime in another area, and they're going to go out in a blaze of glory. And these guys need to know that somebody has their back. And if that means KPNF retirement so that takes care of that, I think it's well worth the investment in law enforcement.
Just to clarify, the spitting that usually occurs usually comes from weight, but, no, I appreciate that, Wade, but again, it's a tool that I need, it's plain and simple. In this coming of age that we're gonna have here in Coffee County, I need this as another tool.
So when the new jail, whenever that starts, what do you anticipate your roll call is gonna go to on, are you gonna increase your deputies? You're gonna keep them at 19, whatever it is?
That won't change.
You know what I'm saying, it's just in-house people? or-
Jail staff, remember, I told you to begin with, I needed another 4 to make this up to 16.
Right.
When that time comes, yeah, and I'll probably, like I said, if I could find 4 right now, I'd probably get them, because right now, finding law enforcement people, not only officers, but jail staff, is difficult. I mean, you see, if you're on Facebook, and I'm old, yes, I use Facebook, but if you're on Facebook, there are agencies putting out on every social media aspect there is, trying to find jailers, cooking staff, deputies, everybody right now. But what I'd like to do, is sometime in mid-24, later 24, is to hire those other 3 or 4 so I can get them out for at least 6 months working in our current jail to get them accustomed to what happens, what goes on, get their training done. So when this puppy opens up, in mid-25, I'm expecting, then I've already got people who've got 6 months or so training under their belt before I throw them in with a bunch of wolves.
The whole option, or the whole reason for a newer jail is to have less contact with the inmates, correct?
Absolutely.
So should it not take less people to operate the new jail than the old jail? Because you don't have to do hands-on, so to speak?
Well, I'm going from 18 beds, anywhere from 18 to 20-some, 22, 23 people, to possibly up to 85.
Right.
And so the aspect of having, an inmate, an officer in booking, and an officer on the floor, and an officer walking, roaming, then I've got 1 officer there that's gonna be in a control room per shift. So there's 4, minimum 4, and that's eliminating them going back and forth to court. That's why I've got the courthouse folks that can help them run people back and forth. Well, that's 4 people a shift, and if I don't have 12, well, I've got to have another 4 just as a 4th crew to have days off and vacation time. So you've eliminated the aspect. Now, if we got 12 for 18 and I can run 92 with 16, that's pretty good if you ask me, running that many people with 16.
That's what I didn't, just trying to run
Yeah.
it in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to use those to run back and forth for court purposes, transporting to other agencies, going and getting federal inmates and bringing them here, that's the whole purpose of having those other 6 courthouse/courtroom security station, the deputies there, is I can use them to also make all these transports and walk back and forth from the jail during court days.
Now your transport people, you still got the 2 that was doing the transports? That was on part-time basis, and you had to hire them?
So, yeah, so for example, Ed, was retired from our jail, worked part-time for us, and now Ed is part-time in security downstairs. So he has that knowledge of doing all the transports, what needs to be done, security, plus, he's a certified part-time. He's with the academy for his part-time status to make him certified, because to have a gun and security station out there and to limit that access to the District Court statute says that I must have a certified officer. So he's certified part-time. So that's why I'm looking at those other 3 to fill this entire spot, because those 3 will be part-timers, because I can get by with part-time people.
Would somebody like Ed be qualified for this?
He's part-time, Don.
Part-time.
Yeah, can't be a part-time employee.
This is just full?
It has to be a full-time employee, certified police officer.
If I recall right, at one time you're not in this also?
No, currently, right now? No, I'm not currently in it.
Well, you're not gonna be in the new one if we went to the KP.
No, I don't know how that ever came out. No, I mean, it's one or all. Everybody has to go or nobody goes.
Okay.
Should be part of it.
I'd understood there at one time that you were not gonna be included in the L.
No,
or no.
I could have, by statute, did that if I was eligible when I came as a sheriff. As an elected official, I had the option of staying Capers or KP&F when I moved here, because I was already in Capers when I left over there. But I wasn't aware of that until after I came here. And so when Capers or KP&F notified me, it was too late then that I couldn't keep that. So I moved back, when I came back here, moved back to Capers again.
So you're going to be KP&F?
Correct, again, everybody.
Every full-time.
Every full-time employee. Yeah, that's one of the things is, it's one or all, one or none.
Okay.
Has to be 100% participation. Because the state doesn't want, Capers, KP&F doesn't want 4 employees on KP&F and, you know, the rest of the employees on Capers. It's gotta be one or all. One or none.
Well, we're looking hopefully at some considerable growth in our county, and I just want to pledge my support that I want this to be a place that people want to come to, not a place that criminals want to come to.
Thanks, Wade, I appreciate that. We're trying to do our best.
That's my goal, you know, so
And that's my goal, so I think that's.
We're trying to make a difference every day.
Does that need to be a motion to do that?
It will, but not until you have the right. So Capers requires, there's a form that has to be filled out. It's called an affiliation for transfer, and that will have to be filled out. We don't have that today, so.
So is it a general consensus then that he's gonna be allowed to switch over to KP&F as of January 1?
As far as the way I stand, yes.
yes.
Yeah, if it's voted, as I understand, if it's voted down, and later we change our mind, they can't come back into it, because it's gotta be applied by December 1st.
That's correct. Papers gotta be in their office by November or December 1st. They need 30 days. Has to be on their desk December 1st.
We can't make a motion today or to wait, but I just want.
General consensus.
That's a general consensus, looks like. That way they can proceed forward with whatever they need to proceed forward with.
But what do you need, Wade?
There's an affiliation for transfer. It has to be done under, you have to reference KSA 74, 49, 54, 1 and 2, and who's to be included, and it's something that can be done. And there's actually, Capers has a form.
Yeah, I've seen that form, but I didn't know that had to be done before this. But that's fine, I can get it done, sometime this week. So you want me to get this completed and then bring it back up next Monday, is that what you want?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there has to be, I know that there has to be a representative assigned, and I'm assuming that is Terry. Does Terry do the other insurance?
Terry or me, probably, yeah.
So I know that has to be put down on paper, who's gonna be the affiliate, the liaison. So I know there's some things that have to be done. But yeah, I can get all that done this week.
Well, I don't know why my mind always leads me there, but it does. But when you're an elected official, you could have done this with or without us.
No, I couldn't have.
No?
No.
Why
This
is that?
requires the governing body to approve it.
Yeah, it has to be approved because I'm changing, it changes the amount of money taken out for your contributions, and that's something I don't have control over.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So the statute for elected officials, I mean, we get into the Nylander weeds, but hire, fire, and promote. And this is not a promotion, this isn't hiring, this isn't firing. This deals with the purse strings that go with the taxpayers, especially benefits such as this. And that's one thing you have, as the governing body, you have the ability to say yea or nay.
Okay.
Appreciate it, sorry I didn't have that paper filled out. If I'd have looked close enough, I guess I'd have filled out by now, but I'll get that filled out. Who do you want on there? You
We got
or
time to
Terry?
get her done.
Best way.
Can we look at it before you fill it out?
Absolutely.
And then we can see how.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll get it to you.
We need to vote on that today.
Said we can't vote on it until we get.
Well, you can vote on it, but then you're gonna be voting on it again, because this resolution is really what binds the county. It's a resolution that has to be, voted on and then approved, and that's why I'm saying, might as well wait until you have the resolution that officially does it, because then that's what gets sent to KPN, or to Capers, to initiate KPNF.
Yeah, I don't think Tom was looking for a 100% vote today for it, just a general consensus that, and which direction we was gonna
Which way
go.
we were looking, yeah.
You know, the buyout or just starting new
Yep, that's
at the
fine.
first of the year. I mean, that's the way I took it anyway.
No, that's,
I mean,
believe me, guys, I'm walking out of here very happy today. If we've come, you know, said we're gonna do this January 1 of 2024,
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Because we had 3 options, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get some paper started, have it to you by next Monday. I'll give it to Angie, we can look over everything and then allow our counselor to look over stuff, I suppose.
But I think that was a good point to bring up, Tom, that if he said no, he couldn't have just done it. This is not one of those situations where he walks out of here and then next week you get paperwork that says he did it anyways as the sheriff, as the elected sheriff. That's not how it works.
Okay.
So,
I think you know me better than that by now, guys, I wouldn't do that to you, so.
Well, the only reason I said that is because it was, as an elected official, it was whether you, if you could have, it was kind of you to even
I appreciate that, yeah.
consider us in the
I see what you're
decision.
saying, I appreciate that. Now, if this was something that needed county commission approval, so, nothing that I could do, so.
Well, then hell, I should have voted.
just just remember, you gotta get out in the county.
Yeah, I appreciate that, yeah. I'm gonna start on paperwork. Thanks, guys, thank you all.
Thank you.
here, 2 things for you. That's what that looks like, that's what the form is,
Yeah, it's very fun.
and that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. All right, I'll get some of this stuff done. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Are you going to eat today? Are they gonna let you go eat, or are you stuck here?
Oh, he's probably got about an executive session.
Yeah, we got another couple hours.
Well, that's the question. If there's a lot left to do, we can break for lunch and come back at 1 o'clock. If we go, I know there's some stuff to do, or we can push through. I just said push through.
Sorry, buddy. See you guys later.
I don't care. I don't care. I should have said that. I don't care. There went that free lunch.
Oh, he didn't say anything about free.
Oh.
Maybe a ride, huh?
All right.
I believe we're at round table. I think we're done with the agenda.
You wanna go around and come back to me?
I bet everybody, but Angie's probably gonna have something, but I bet everybody else will be pretty quiet. I'm good.
I got one thing.
Steve, do you have anything? I'm good. You're good? Good. Don?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Wade?
I was gonna touch on the mowing deal, but we've already touched on it today, so I'm good. Yep.
Mr. Tom?
Crosswalk, working with Street Superintendent Mark Davison, we kind of thought we had it agreed upon to angle it and go into that handicap parking stall, the first one where the blue hash marks are, but he thought, hindsight being what it is, that he'd be sending somebody behind a vehicle, if you will,
Yeah, that
coming
could be
from the
back
south
out.
to go back across. The button's gonna be after, I mean, it's just not gonna work for him. He's not feeling good about it. So I met with him this morning. It's gonna cost a little more probably maybe than what I thought, but I did ask my son to put a number to it, because he would have to be coming by at the same time and it goes to him, so anyway, that's where we're at with that.
Gonna square it up, then move it
Kinda, yeah, it's just gonna
more
shift,
square,
yeah.
further west on
It's
this.
on his side.
Be more in line with the sidewalk,
Correct,
Okay,
north and south sidewalk.
correct.
yeah, that sounds good. Better than putting that in a blind spot, yeah.
Yeah, I told him, put some numbers together on it, because I mean, if they're gonna be demoing this, or not, I remember, I had to have something.
It'd be good to get something done if we could.
Yeah. All right, the landscaping, everybody mentioned earlier is looking awesome, so.
That was really good.
I think that was it for me.
I don't believe I have anything. I am not seeing anything as far as a contract from, Bart and them about the home. I mowed again. There are some trees dying, but I'm not watering trees. They live or die.
Nature come water?
Yep.
They might come back to life.
All swimming pool. We are gonna have to close the pool off, so I don't know, have somebody come out and pull it down, winterize it, turn on the heater, whatever.
Who'd you use to,
Jack's pool's who I used to replace that heater. I can't get anything out of people at Garnett now. They just like fell off the earth, so, which is timing's right because we're getting close on chemical. So, probably have Jack's come out and set it up for winterize.
Their system then.
Yeah. That's all I have. Angie, do you have anything?
Yeah, just a reminder that, as we talked earlier, this Thursday is Government Day. So we need a commissioner up at the high school to welcome students there, since they can't do it in the lobby anymore with the security station. So, and then we need one here in this room that can handle the rotations as they come through. So if anyone's available to
What time is it?
at the high school, it'll be at 9 a.m. throughout the morning. In here, they will rotate around starting at 9:30, then one at 9:50, 10:10, 10:30, 10:50, 11:10, 11:30, 11:50, and 12:10 is the last group. So,
I can be here, I guess, wherever I'm needed, I guess.
I'd like to be when I can't be.
that's okay.
You need one at Burlington and
One at the high school
one here.
and one here.
That's the fifth, isn't that correct? The fifth?
Yes.
Yeah. I would help out, but I need to be office bound from Thursday on.
I mean, I could help here or something if somebody else isn't available, I mean, but.
Or take a break if somebody gets tired of talking. It's a lot of talking because you're saying the same thing over and over to each group that comes in, and
Here in the courthouse, they meet in here or down?
they've typically been meeting in here.
They go to the different offices, do
Uh-huh.
they? Is that what the
Yeah,
kids
they
do?
rotate, so they'll leave from here, probably go to my office, and then on down the hall to go to each.
Sounds like it'd be kind of fun to do.
It is,
I'm sure it is.
yeah, it is, but it is a lot of talking,
Yeah.
repeating the same thing.
So you kinda have
You got
a
a script?
I've got a little, I've got kind of like notes to go off. I handed them out.
I was gonna ask if you had
I do.
anything specifically to talk about.
I can print it off again here.
We got 2 pages in the mail. I think I left mine at home.
It just basically highlights what they've used before. So you can expound on it, just your own, you know.
got the subject listed, and then you
Yeah.
give your
Yeah.
version of it, you
Yeah.
might say.
And then it leaves time for them to ask questions, and then you can answer questions.
The answers have to be right.
Be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yes, I went to the other corner. Hold on just a second.
Offer to help you out, but I'll be in court. And I think that's one of their stops along the way, is in the courtroom.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go to the courtroom this year.
So I guess I'm available. I'll just be wherever somebody else don't wanna be. I guess.
Hell, I could be down here, it don't make any difference to me.
Did you wanna copy this?
Steve?
Doesn't matter.
I can't be here, Tyler.
Oh, okay, so it's Dawn and
I mean, like I say, I could help here, Dawn, if you needed some help. I'd rather be here where I can sit down.
Yeah.
So school, where at?
School at the high school at 9 a.m. And I don't know if that's, how long you have to be there. It said, will there be a commissioner to be at the Burlington High School to greet the students at the 9 a.m. greeting flag time? It's 2 to 3 minutes for greeting, so I'm thinking they must do it every group that comes in maybe up there, but if not, you can always come back here and help out if they're done with.
I think they do it here with 30-minute rotation, isn't it?
They're 20-minute rotations.
They're 20?
Yeah, I'll print that off too, again.
I'll find out.
It might only be at the one thing, might only be once at the school, then.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would be.
Everybody's all together at the high school.
They are all together that
Just
morning?
one large group.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then you're there, then you can come
And
back
then they
here and then do the
So
rotation.
you really wouldn't need to if you didn't have to.
Probably not. Sounds like, yeah. I didn't know how they operated up at the school, because I've never been up there, but
I can call Craig Marshall and find out. If I can leave there and come here, it's
I'll
up to you.
pass then if there's people to do it. I mean,
I'll leave and I'll come back here if that's week, but I'll call Craig Marshall to make sure.
make sure what the time is.
Well, make sure if it's just a 3 or 4 or 5 minute introduction thing.
Yeah.
I'm done.
arrive at the Burlington High School at 8:45. The Greek flag folding ceremony is 9 to 9:15. I'll give you a itinerary here in a second as soon as it prints off. And then starting at 9:30 are the rotations for each office.
Yeah, so basically, they're just gonna have a big powwow at the school and then start coming around to the offices, what it sounds to me. Do they do this every year? I'm just curious.
Do what?
Do they do this every year?
Yes, they started doing this several years ago now, through the American.
Bob's done it every year.
Yeah, yeah. And those notes that we had are just what has kind of been put together, and when on that you can add or change whatever you want to do.
And Bob liked to talk.
So, if there's other topics you want to add to it, you certainly can.
These are 15-minute rotations here.
I'll just be at school at 8:45.
And then, last Wednesday, I think somebody mentioned or had a question about the, time clocks. I had to step out. I had a couple things I had to do, so I wasn't here right at the beginning, but, we are still trying to get things squared away with CIC on that. We've got the real time going now with employees, so we are on real time, so that issue that was a concern is no longer a concern, so.
Right.
But the time clock system, when they're gonna be able to get with us to get things, and so we're continually trying to get, they've got a comp time portal that we paid for, they're trying to get that one set up, we've gotta get the sheriff's office set up on the 28-day pay cycle, because theirs is different than the rest of county employees. And, one other thing that they've gotta do. So as soon as we can, and now we're getting into October here with holidays coming and all that, and trying to rush to get stuff through. I don't know if it might be pushed back to January 1, but we keep having employees practice, because that's the main thing. As long as they're practicing and learning how to use the system, then once we are ready to go live, then hopefully we'll have fewer issues.
But these folks are working with you.
Yes. We haven't had any issues with that. So it's taking longer than expected, but hopefully,
I think as long as they're working with you and trying to.
yeah,
to get
they
it-
are.
To get it satisfied.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you that update, because like I said, I wasn't here, right at the beginning of the meeting last week, and so I wanted you to know that it is all still in the works, so.
Everything takes a little bit of time.
It does.
Sometimes longer than you want it to, too.
And it is true, the more people that are on it, not fighting the system, that's doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can work out the bugs. Now, that way, when it go live time, you have
It's very few.
way less issues. Issues have already been settled, and don't fight it, just do it, and roll with it, so.
And I think, let's see, I keep things on your to-do list on the Canva there, so if there's something I need to take off, I've added lots of things too, so I don't know of anything else that we need to add there at the moment. So, I think I'm done with that.
These topics that's discussed here, I know Bob was doing about all of it here. Do you have somebody come in from the sheriff's office, county courthouse, county court, to,
They rotate to different offices.
Move to the different
oh, they just rotate?
Yeah, so they come in here and they learn about commissioners and your duties and what you do here.
Yeah, I'd almost have to.
Then they move to my office and I explain what we do in there. So they're learning about each office, which I think is a great thing, because I remember when I was young, the courthouse seemed so daunting and kind of a scary place to go, and so for kids to learn to come in and find out what each office of government
Plus, they get to see the layout of the whole place.
they do, and then when they need to come in to get their tags, they're not maybe afraid or feel intimidated or anything like that. They know where, have an idea where to go. So I think it's a good thing to help them.
This all ages?
I want to say, is it just seniors? Okay.
Just seniors? Yep. You know something, I was here maybe last year. Maybe I come down last year for this, but I remember
I think you were
some
here.
older kids coming through. I can't remember what else I'd have been here for. But I can't remember that far back, so.
And so, like I said, these highlighted items I gave you on, it's talking about the history of the county. I've updated it because our budget is more now than what it was on there before. You got your different, well, they're not up there anymore, but your different agencies that you appoint board members to, and so you can surely expound on all that. Whoever's going to do the talking, so. Anyway, that's all.
That's it? Batting the ball back to Wade.
If you ever have a chance as a commissioner to go into schools, for example, Jesse going to Levo and talking to, I forget which class it is.
History government class, I think.
Yeah. Once a year, they have, it's Mr. Over here in Burlington, and then, Mr. True in, Leroy. And going in and doing that is something that I'd recommend if you get invited as a commissioner.
Yeah, the kids get points for it, for having you come in.
They get points?
I think so.
If you do it right, they ask questions, and it's actually a fun exercise. Well, I don't know about fun. It's an exercise for them where you engage them, you get them asking or answering questions, and then it turns into a nice little dialogue where back and forth. So.
You get a lot of the blank stares.
Get some of those too. Or you're just not doing it right.
Probably not doing it right, would be my guess.
Maybe they pick up a little something.
Yeah.
Or hopefully all of them would get a little something out of it.
Hopefully.
So what I have on the screen right now, just so you're aware, and for people who are out there in YouTube land, for the bids for the jail, this is the Coffee County main webpage, and all the different places where you can go. But if you want to go in and you want to go to county services, bid opportunities, and at the very bottom of the bid opportunities, within bid opportunities, is everything that goes with the jail. So pre-bid meeting 10/3, which is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Closing time and date, 10/19/23 at 2 p.m. Everything has to be turned into Angie's office, and then all the bid documents that, for example, make sure these aren't broken. So it takes you to River City site, and gives you the project description, all the categories. You go in and look at the plans, so we'll just go in and
We've already set up plans, you'll be there a while.
Probably will take 20 minutes to load.
You're gonna be there a while.
I just wanted to show it.
Yep. That's usually when I hit download, go for lunch.
Yeah.
Come back.
So here's one that came up a lot quicker. So that's the schedule, which we already have here. It got dropped off. So I just wanted to show that that's where it is, and if anybody wants to go in and look at it and get an idea. Initially, at some points in time, these links get broken, or you go into them and there's nothing there. That's not the case. So, but all the different categories that they're looking for bids for: concrete, masonry, steel fabrication, and erection, going all the way down to plumbing, HVAC, electrical, earthwork, site demolition, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to bring that up while I was thinking about it, since that's kind of moving in the background, and with the anticipation of that project hopefully moving forward within the next couple of months, these bids are going to be a key feature to see where the numbers are. So, any questions about that? I don't think we've ever gone through and where you've seen sort of in this setting, especially for people watching on YouTube, that you can just go on to the website where it is. I'm told people sometimes don't know where to go, or they have a difficult time. Well, this takes care of that.
Ta-da, there it is.
Ta-da. Number 2, I'll request a 10-minute executive session. You're hoping you're going to get out of it. I saw that.
Well, I had it set for 20.
The disappointment. It's for legal advice related to potential litigation I guess we'll just leave it at that. Myself, the board, and 10 minutes should cover it.
Can we get an extra minute for on the way or something?
Yeah, I'll set it where it won't start as early as normal. I will move for executive session.
Second.
Moved by Knight, seconded by Hugden. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. 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 We will enter at 12:18 for 10 minutes. That should give you enough time.
How are you feeling, Wade? Okay?
Not too bad,
Okay.
much better.
You need some ibuprofen or anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We are back. and live.
I'll just come up here on Thursday and I'll
Okay.
come up that week.
Yeah, I know whether Tom's gonna come down from the high school then. Guess it doesn't matter if there's more than one anyhow, so.
Yeah.
Lost a couple on the way back, but no action taken last executive session.
If I get a chance, I might come in, Dawn, just to hear what everybody gives in their presentation in case they get invited to Southern Coffee County or something.
That'd be good. Or even just to go around and listen to the.
I wouldn't mind hearing the others,
Mhm.
actually.
And get an idea of what.
Well, I would say that the only thing you would, county courthouse, I mean, the only thing you would miss be the basically sheriff's office, right?
Well, okay, so.
There's different groups, I assume, isn't there?
Yeah, you're
Everybody.
gonna have all different schools coming here.
Oh, all different schools, not all
Lebo, Waverly, Leroy, they all come here.
Burlington.
And so, at 9:30, all of these groups, the groups will be at each one of these offices. So, and then at 9:50, they switch to the next office.
So the whole school is not coming in?
Yeah, it's just the senior classes, yeah.
Okay.
So if you wanted to start at, say, 9:30, just hypothetically, if you wanted to go to the sheriff's office with that first group, you could. And then you could skip down to the court, the next one, or you could go to a different one as they move around, and then just make your way around to each.
I just thought I might come and listen to what commissioners, you know, talk about our job in case you get invited somewhere else later.
Hey.
I announced we was back, no action taken on the executive session. Do you have anything else for today?
The other thing that I was gonna bring up had to do with, irrigation, but I think I have a couple questions that need to be answered before I'm prepared to bring that up, so hopefully I'll be able to bring it up next week. But the idea is, and Tom can correct me if I'm wrong, as the border gets completed around the courthouse, the irrigation becomes something that becomes more important to have finished and installed before winter hits, which would also include digging up, laying the new irrigation line, as well as seeding. So, but outside of that, I don't have anything unless you have something for me.
I don't have anything.
At one time, when you guys mentioned that one of the lights out here wasn't working and wondering whether wiring got cut to it or something.
Oh, Brad mentioned that to you.
Right out east here, isn't it?
I think last
Last week.
Yeah, last week too.
Oh, to the flag, that was it, and he mentioned to me last week, look, that light bulb was replaced. So the
Okay,
light bulb
okay.
issue
Just-
is up and operational now.
You know, and didn't know that it was or wasn't a bulb, but just in case there was, before we put in irrigation or something, and then have to go digging up looking for a broken wire or something, you know.
Yep.
That was my only question.
There was also an email that came out within the last week from River City on behalf of Kilo, and Tom can probably describe this a whole lot better than I can. It had to do with raising the water sewer outlet down the road where.
Area inlet that
Yeah.
wanted that lowered a little bit to make it a little more concave there to, for all the water to congregate there instead of it being high enough where it could just pass on by. But it actually the grate was not very big and square, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
different than a new
Yeah.
owner lid.
So they're waiting for that part to be fabricated. I believe from the email I saw, it's been fabricated and they had planned on
Next week.
replacing it next week. So
Yep.
that's one of the things that was important to the city because of the water runoff, and that's going to be at no additional cost to the taxpayers or the project with some of the. what do you
It's
call
bad
that?
design.
But that's down here north of the stop sign.
It's at the, south side of the intersection of Hudson and Sixth.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the erosion was.
Yep.
Yes,
That's fine, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
just replace the entire inlet area, if you will, state inlet lid.
That's what I thought.
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yep.
Anybody else have any last minute roundtable? Government Day, there can only be 2 here, right?
Correct.
Hopefully you don't hold a meeting.
I was just throwing,
Yeah.
because Wade did say he would like to go around and listen to the others talk, you know,
Yeah.
along with the kids. He's gonna go be a high school senior again.
You can do that.
Yeah.
He could go around.
I don't have to be there, I can go.
No, I just said I might listen to one of the presentations just to hear, you know, what you guys bring up.
But there's gonna be a live court. I think Judge Lyon will probably give a little spiel, and then we've got a regular docket, so.
Cool. Neat. Well, if nobody has anything else, we will adjourn at 12:37.